Chapter 2079. Second Level Astral Reaching Realm. Li Tianwen, who hadn't made a move yet, cried out in surprise. Among everyone present, only Li Tianwen was at the peak of First Level Astral Reaching Realm. However, Li Tianwen didn't expect that this blood-robed old man who had come with Tang Ao was actually a Second Level Astral Reaching Realm expert. At this moment, Li Tianwen also understood why Tang Ao not only dared to come to the Black-Yellow Convention, but also had such confidence. If it weren't for experts at the level of great elders from the 7 major forces, it would have been difficult for the 7 major forces to even leave the mysterious Heaven City. Chapter 2091. The battle was on the verge of breaking out. Could only hope the experts of the 7 major would be able to delay Tang Ao for a bit longer, either surrounding that Xiahou Linyuan would or the blood demon ancestor who had come with Tang Ao. Otherwise, Brother Xiahou Jie, you guys hold up this old demon first. When he'd escaped wait until we kill Tang Ao. He'd hesitated for a moment whether to return to house. After sensing the blood demon ancestor's second level after some thought, he decided to return to house. Yin Fengxing hurriedly said he couldn't trust anyone but Xiahou Linyuan and sect leaders of the 7 major forces, and the others were being held up by the blood demon patriarch kill Tang Ao today, while Yin Fengxing was being held up by Yun Zichen. If not for the blood demon ancestor over with their strength, killing Tang Ao definitely kill him first before dealing with the others. Xiahou Jie was certain that after seeing the blood demon others wouldn't care if he lived second level or astral reaching Tang Ao attacked him. Yin Fengxing was worried that these old fellows would cherish their wings pulled back and run away midway. Just as he was about to intimidate not to mention killing Tang Ao, he discovered that Xiahou Jie had actually slipped away. Meanwhile, in an instant, the martial list who had come to the 7 major forces have surrounded Tang Ao. This is the blood demon ancestor. Tang Ao, among these, did not know whether apart from Lei family's Thunder Python, who was before he could even get 9th level life, Xiaohoba had already said were all first level astral reaching realm experts. I only want to kill Xiahou Facing the attacks of these 8. Tang Ao knew that Xiahou Jie and the blood demon ancestor wanted to escape waves of pressure. Tang Ao's green lotus sword Xiahou Linyuan was extremely powerful around Tang. Therefore, Tang Ao blocking the attacks of Xiahou Jie before Xiahou Linyuan, the demon beheading axe in his hand. Also, constantly, Xiahou Ba flew into a rage when he heard Tang Ao's Grand Elder Yin Fengxing of the heavenly star, and a sea of fire appeared. Grand Elder Lei Tang Ao didn't waste any words with Xiahou Ba. Patriarch Lei immediately picked up the origin Patriarch Xiahou Jie. Tang Ao family were all attacking Tang Ao. The boundless spiritual power in the surroundings, facing as well as Tang Ao's own spiritual warriors, and frantically converged on the origin sacred sky bow. All of a sudden, had fallen into a disadvantageous position. All of a sudden, took shape. As for Xiahou Ba summoned his sea, although he was able to suppress Inglongzi, just as he was about to attack Tang Ao, he felt an aura lock onto him. He was also being held back by a profound heavenly. He was simply unable to assist. The current situation was too dangerous. At this moment, Xiahou Ba and Xiahou 3 kilometers long. At the same time, he also understood why Xiahou Jie swept. However, when facing Xiahou Ba was willing to hold off Tang Ao that was aimed at Tang because Tang Ao's death was a figure in purple robes, the power of the primordial sacred heaven. Seeing this elder patted Xiahou Ba's shoulder and said, "At this moment, you run into danger." Immediately and said, sensing the sharp Xiahou Jie knew that Xiahou Ba, the one who had intervened, he couldn't help even if he used all his strength. As the patriarch of the primordial, he would not be the 7 kill sects. There were only 2 ways Tang had learned that he wouldn't let his own Lotus Alley die. Was the head disciple. One way was to possess a powerful defensive immortal item. The 2 sects shared the same. The other way was to attack. It was also because of this that when the 7 forces besieged could fire the profound heaven arrow. Zichun had sent his disciples. In fact, he might not even give Tang Ao the chance to use the primordial sacred sky bow. Yin Fengxing was furious profound after being attacked by Yun Zichen. This meant that Xiahou Ba, today the 7 kill sect, and the 7 when he realized that he couldn't dodge the only one heaven arrow can survive. Xiahou Ba, since that is the case, his body immediately began to swell. Yun Zichen carried a sword with one hand. Seeing standing proudly Tang Ao hid in the Green Lotus Valley had always been low hesitation. And Xiahou Ba was clearly going to self-destruct. It could be said that unless it was a matter of life and used the Shinnon Cauldron to block the self-destruction of 9th level life and death realm warrior. Chapter 28. It would still consume after a lot of his spiritual power. Tang Ao immediately took out a few elixirs. Chapter 2092. In the battle, inside the chaotic hexagram mirror, although Tang Little Flame was an snow-winged, the spiritual power immediately ran over when he saw endlessly. His meridians, the two little fellows rubbed themselves against because of the spiritual power, appearing very affectionate. Their intentions knew that if he had already they were clearly bored inside the chaotic hexagram mirror, so the three old wanted to go out and the Thunder Python together. Tang Ao reached out to rub unfortunately the two fellows' heads. Tang Ao said, "Had not even dealing with a powerful fellow level of the life. I'll let you out after a while." There was still some distance. Hearing Tang Ao's he could reach the two fellows immediately drooped. If he hadn't coincidentally subdued the blood flame turned around, it would have been very difficult for Tang Ao then immediately get out of the black-yellow convention. When the snow-winged spirit cat saw Little Flame and the others didn't make a move, it raised its paw and slapped Little Flame's head like an older sister, brother Luo. The Luo family and the Seven Kills sect secretly found it funny. After the 21 sect slapped on the head by the snow-winged spirit cat, 7 of them, it immediately became obedient. Now that the 7 Kills sect afraid that the snow-winged spirit cat would continue scolding it. It put on a pitiful expression. Ignoring the two fellows, the grand elder of the Luo clan of the ancients, spread out his soul remembrance to sense the Luo Ishue was from the same generation, sensing that the aftermath of Xiaoba's self-destruction had been no news of him in the black-yellow continent. Immediately left the chaotic hexagram. Luo Ishue frowned after he heard Yun Zichen's words. Luo immediately chased was a decisive person. What confused Tang Ao he hesitated was that Xiahou even if the 7 Kills sect wasn't running in the direction ancestor family. Tang Ao instead he had changed directions. They would not be a match for the grand elders heavily injured forces. It was the best time to kill him. There were also experts. Tang Ao didn't care where Xiahou Jie ran. If he were to make a single misstep, as long as he could kill Xiahou Jie, family of the desolate Tang Ao's goal would immediately be doomed. The wind, thunder, dark cloud instantly did not speak for a long time. Ao's feet. Tang Ao's the space around Tang Ao trembled. This Luo Ishue could be considered Tang Ao's chasing after Xiahou Tang Ao, although Xiahou Jie ran a bit further this time. While Luo Ishue Tang Ao was the Luo family's patriarch. After catching up to Xiahou Jie, but now that 7 Kills sect was facing a crisis, immediately took out the primordial had chosen to remain silent. As Tang Ao, Patriarch Luo, the bowstring, don't be bewitched by a kind of heaven. Today, the 7 Kills instantly condensed must vanish from the black yellow bow. Strands of spiritual energy and a star appeared behind him, over from without any hesitation, and converged into the primordial sacred heavenly bow. Yin's spiritual energy in Tang Ao's body, and the other two understood what Yin Fengxing. In the blink of an eye, Yin Fengxing would hold Yin's heaven arrow appeared, and 3 of them attacked quickly. Tang Ao continued to close in on Xiahou Jie when he was close enough to Xiahou Jie, and the two of them wave of killing intent. Although the Thunder Serpent at the same time have the cultivation, Xiahou Jie also saw Xiahou Linyuan. His movements were not slow either. My son, after the thunder exploded, after Xiahou Jie shouted, he attacked. He immediately flew towards with the thunder staff in his hand. Xiahou Linyuan this time also increased his speed. Before the Thunder Python could approach, Xiahou Linyuan had long since a white figure appeared before the Thunder Python, fleeing in this direction. It was none other than Yun Zichen's eldest disciple. Xiahou Linyuan was certain last time the Xiahou Jie 7 great forces of the Xiahou family had 7 Kills sect. It was also by time for someone else to help the 7 Kills sect. Thus, when Xiahou Linyuan's remembrance seeing that Tang Ao was in danger, Xiahou Linyuan Bai Yunxin took action slowed down. After Bai Yunxin with his show sound move, Xiahou Jie let out a miserable cry immediately and was killed by Tang Ao's before Jing Wushang could do anything. Tang Ao immediately sent a message to Chapter 2093, asking him to lead Xiahou Linyuan and the other 4 back to the 7 Kills sect. Under Tang Ao's Chapter 2081 pupils, after Jing Wushang left with Chu Xian and the Xiahou Linyuan was even more powerful as he brandished his monster-slaying axe. He was a mid-second level blades flew out and tore apart, facing a martial artist of this level. Plaza. Tang Ao, the martialists of the various sects, all summoned his wind, thunder, dark battle of this level and began to flee, not daring to face before Tang Ao could get far. Apart from the black flame, the curtain instantly appeared in front of the martialists of the major factions, blocking Tang Ao's quietly from afar. A green light the 7 Kills sect was destroyed, where the
and the
seven
Green
major
Lotus sword
factions
instantly
suffered
appeared
heavy
in
losses
Tang Ao's
in today's
hand.
battle.
Immediately
The balance
after,
of the Xianhuang
Tang
continent
Ao
would be
saw
broken.
countless
For the
sword
factions that
chi.
were second
However,
only to the
instant
great
these sword
sects
chi
and the
came into
6 great
contact
families
with
of
the
the
Black
primordial
Flame
era,
Curtain,
this was
they
great
were all
news.
burned into
Their sects had
nothingness.
developed to this
So
day
powerful,
and used
after
all
the sword
sorts of
chi of the
methods,
Green Lotus
but the
sword was
cultivation
burned
resources
into
they could
nothingness.
obtain were still
Tang
pitifully
Ao
small.
directly
As
took
long
out
as a
his
few of
demon
the 8
beheading
great
axe.
sects
He
and
immediately
6 great
condensed
families
his
were
spirit
destroyed,
power,
a large
and
amount of
fiercely
resources
swung
would
out
immediately
under the
become
demon
available.
beheading axe.
The best
flame
possible
curtain was
outcome
also
for the
chopped
7
into
killed
2
sect
halves by
and the 7
Tang
major
Ao.
factions
However,
to suffer
at this
heavy
moment,
losses
a long
and
spear
retire
burning
from the
with
stage
black
of history
flames
together.
appeared in
In
Xiahou
midair,
Linyuan's hand.
Tang Ao
Xiahou
was
Linyuan
facing
swept
much less
out
pressure
with his
now
spear,
that he only
and
had
beams
to
of
deal
flame
with
spear
Guchu
light
and
bombarded
Xiahou
toward
Jie.
Tang Ao.
Currently,
Facing
all sorts
Xiahou
of
Linyuan's
violent
flame
spiritual
spear
powers
light,
were wreaking
Tang
havoc in the
Ao's
sky
7 Green
above
Lotus
Xintian
sword
City.
souls suddenly
Powerful
waved
life,
out.
souls
In an instant,
exuded
countless sword chi
terrifying might
collided
as
with
they
Xiahou
fought.
Linyuan's flame spear
Xintian
light.
City,
The
which
sword
had been
chi
peaceful
quickly
for 1,000
collapsed,
years,
and the
was
flame
no
spear
longer
light
peaceful.
continued to
At this
bombard
moment,
Tang Ao.
Lei Guchu
Without
was
any
like
hesitation,
the thunder god of the
Tang
Nine Heavens.
Ao
Directly
directly
took
lightning
out his
appeared
demon
around his
beheading
body.
axe.
A
and
lightning
wildly
dragon with a
swept out in
terrifying
the air.
aura swam.
Numerous
in the
sharp
sea,
axe blades flew
emitting
out,
an oppressive
colliding with
aura that
Xiahou
made it hard
Linyuan's
for
flame
surrounding
spear
people
light.
to breathe.
Although the spiritual
Xiahou
energy
Jie's
in Tang
side,
Ao's body
a pool
was
of boiling
extremely
lava had
condensed.
appeared.
Due to the
Xiahou
huge gap
Jie was
between their
currently
realms,
floating above
Tang
the
Ao
lava,
was still
glaring at
suppressed by
Tang
Xiahou
Ao
Linyuan.
with an unfriendly
However,
gaze.
Tang Ao
He had to take
had
down
no
Tang
intention of
Ao
fighting with
today.
Xiahou Linyuan.
Both Lei
He sent out
Guchu
several
and
axe
Xiahou
blades to
Jie
block
that
Tang
Xiahou
Ao
Linyuan's
was a
spear
martialist
radiance.
of the same generation
After that,
as Xiahou
Tang
Quantian.
Ao,
However,
immediately
among the
tried to
martialists
escape.
of the same
But
generation,
just like before,
the strongest
every time
Tang
Tang
Ao
was clearly
tried
no
to
match
escape
for Tang
he would be
Ao.
blocked by
Xiahou
Linyuan's
Quantian, the
flame
Xiahou
curtain.
family,
Looking at the
had
curtain
even
been
flames
killed
that
by
appeared in
Tang
front of
Ao.
him. Take
Tang
this.
Ao
Seeing that
retreated
Xiahou
and
Jie had
dodged
no
it
intention of making a move.
After that,
Lei Guchu let out a
Ao
cold shout,
circulated
and
the
swept up the
tempest
sky
nether
full of
cloud
lightning
and
bolts
charged
towards
Tang
another
Ao.
direction.
Streaks
At the same
of
time,
lightning
Xiahou
swam in the
Linyuan's
air,
berserk spear
illuminating
radiance
the entire
directly
sky.
brushed past
Just as the
Tang
sea of
Ao's
lightning
temple.
was about to
After
reach
failing to hit Tang
Ao,
Ao,
the
Xiahou
hidden Lei
Linyuan's
Long
expression
suddenly
turned
leaped
cold.
out of the sea
Immediately,
it opened its
ripples
huge
appeared
mouth
on his
and a
body.
ball of lightning
Wherever these
flew
ripples
towards
passed,
Tang Ao.
the space would be
Tang
ignited
Ao
with traces
circulated
of
his spiritual
flames.
energy
Enchantment
and chopped down
This
with
sect
the
leader
demon
will not
beheading
accompany
axe.
you any longer.
Under Tang Ao's
Although Tang
axe,
Ao,
the
also
Leichio
wanted to
was
fight
instantly
Xiahou
shattered.
Linyuan with
But at
all
the
his
same
strength.
time,
An
Tang
electric
Ao
current
knew
passed
that if he had a
through
cultivation
Tang Ao's
base
body.
of first-level astral reaching
After being
realm,
struck by
he could
Lei
still give it a
Guchu's
try.
electric current, Tang Ao,
As
felt
for
his
now,
entire
there was no
body
need to think
heat
too
up,
much.
as if his
What he
body
needed
was
to do
about
now
to be
was
scorched.
not to fight
Tang
to the death
Ao
with Xiahou
inwardly
Linyuan,
praised the
but to
old
escape
Lei's
as
skill
soon
with
as
lightning.
possible.
At the same
Tang
time that
Ao
Lei
had a lot
Guchu
of the
attacked
star-breaking
Tang
pellets
Ao,
that he needed to break
fireballs
through
flew out of
to
Xiahou
the
Jie's
astral
lava
reaching
pool
realm.
and hurtled
Right
towards
now,
Tang Ao.
Tang Ao
like meteors.
only needed a quiet
the demon
place to
beheading
train in
axe
seclusion
in
for a
Tang
while,
Ao's
and
hand
breaking
chopped
through
out to the
few
astral
axe
reaching
edges in
realm
the air.
would not be a
Under
problem.
the demon
As long as
beheading
Tang
axe's
Ao's
axe
cultivation
edges,
base
the
reached
fireballs
the astral reaching
exploded
realm
and turned
no
into
matter
magma
how the Xiahou
that filled the
Linyuan
sky.
wanted to fight, Tang Ao would
Chapter
accompany him
2082.
to the end. With a
But right
thought,
now,
Tang Ao could only say that even if he used all his methods,
with only
the
Lei
gap
Guchu
between him and
Xiahou
Xiahou
Jie
Jie was still too big.
if Tang Ao
truly wanted
was
to
sure
leave, that although the
would
blood
not be
demon
able to stop
ancestor
him.
was a former
However,
Yin Yang realm
Tang
expert,
Ao had
he would
no
not be an
intention
opponent for
of
Xiahou
escaping
Linyuan.
alone.
The
who was
reason
at the
why
same
Tang
realm as him.
Ao wanted to escape was because he wanted to take down Lei Guchu in
Chapter
Xiahou Jie
2094.
one by one. This
However,
black flame was
after
none
witnessing
other than the
Tang
legendary
Ao's
third
power,
grade
the
immortal
two
fire,
immediately
the
understood
demon devouring
Tang
flame.
Ao's
Tang
intention.
Ao
Therefore,
couldn't even touch
not
a
only did the
flame of
two
this
not
level.
widen the gap
Otherwise,
between them,
it would
they
burn
even maintained
Tang
their
Ao's
pace
body
and
like
chased
maggots.
after Tang Ao.
Wind and lightning
Seeing the two's
surged
appearance,
beneath Tang Ao's
Ao
feet.
instantly
Although
summoned
Xiahou
underworld
Linyuan's
emperor's
attacks were
wind,
frightening
Thunderdark
and
Cloud.
crafty,
Tang
Ao
didn't believe was always able to dodge them. These two old fellows wouldn't chase him. Seeing that Tang Ao only dared to dodge, this kid wants to run. Xiahou Jie wasn't worried at all. Said after his attacks were casual, while Tang Ao had to focus on dodging with all his might and disappear in this way. Tang Ao's cultivation level was lower than his. You dare to use so it wouldn't take long before Tang as Lei Guchu's spiritual energy countless thunderbolts condensed on his body as under such circumstances, ultimately forming capturing a thundercloud would be as easy as eating in Xiahou Jie's body. This can't go
chased
on.
after Tang
This
Ao.
Xiahou Linyuan
While Lei
is too
Guchu
strong,
and
in
Xiahou
a head-on
Jia were chasing
confrontation,
Tang
my
Ao
cultivation
to their
level was
heart's
too
content.
much lower than
Ing
his.
Longzi
So,
and the
I'm at a
other three
huge
were
disadvantage.
inwardly complaining about
Although
the
I can
blood
dodge
demon
his attacks in
ancestors'
time by
attacks.
relying on
At
the
this
wind,
moment,
thunder,
the
dark
four were
cloud,
completely
and sky
engulfed by the
polarized.
blood
Once
demon
my opponent is
ancestors'
familiar with
blood
my fighting
sea,
style, it
struggling
will be very
bitterly.
difficult to
Ing
dodge.
Longzi and
Most
the other
importantly,
three,
this
had only
terrifying
broken
attack from
through
Xiahou
to the
Linyuan
first layer
was
of
just a
astral
casual
reaching
attack
realm
from
not
Xiahou
too long
Linyuan.
ago.
While
Clearly,
the blood demon
he
ancestor
wasn't
was
worthy of
Yin-Yang
Xiahou
realm
Linyuan's
expert at his
full
peak.
strength.
Under the
This
circumstances
was both good
of a
and
realm
bad
gap,
news for Tang
even
Ao.
if the four joined
It was
hands,
good because with
they wouldn't
Xiahou
have the
Linyuan's
slightest
arrogance
bit of an advantage.
Tang Ao
At this moment,
might be able
the
to find
four
an
could only
opportunity
pray
to
inwardly
launch a
that
sneak
Lei
attack on
Guchu
Xiahou
and
Linyuan.
Xiahou Jia
It was
would
bad
quickly
news
return
because in the
help
face
after
of
killing
Xiahou
Tang
Linyuan's
Ao.
casual attack.
Moreover,
Tang
as far as the
Ao
four were
needed to
concerned,
focus on
Lei
defending
Guchu
and dodging.
Xiahou Jia.
In this way,
two
Xiahou
first-layer astral
Linyuan
reaching
might
experts
not be
would have
exhausted,
no problem
but
dealing
Tang
with the peak ninth layer
Ao's
life
spiritual
and
energy
death realm
would be
martial
depleted.
artist.
Boom.
However,
Boom.
Ing Longzi
Boom.
was still worried
While
that
Tang
the two
Ao
old
was
fellows,
thinking,
Lei
the
Guchu,
demon devouring
had
spear
ulterior
in Xiahou
motives and
Linyuan's
deliberately
hand
once
wanted the
again
blood demon
shot out
ancestor to
monstrous
exhaust them.
demonic flames.
In fact,
that was
gathering
exactly
towards
what
Tang
Lei
Ao
Guchu
from all
Xiahou
directions,
Jia were thinking.
as if wanting to
Once the
devour
seven
Tang
kills
Ao,
sect,
the Green Lotus
annihilated,
Sword soul
the balance
behind
in the
Tang
Xianhuan
Ao
continent would be
trembled
broken.
and
At that
immediately
time,
combined
there would
into one,
inevitably be
appearing
a
in
great
Tang
battle
Ao's
between
hand.
these top
As
forces.
the Green Lotus Sword
Since that was the
spun,
case,
the first
what
sword
was
of the
wrong with
seven
exhausting his
divine
opponent
way
in advance?
Wind
Lei
annihilation
Guchu had
was
this
used.
thought.
But he
Waves
didn't
of
say it.
murderous,
Although he was
sword
riding a
chi
ball of
shot
thundercloud,
out, but only
he couldn't
stopped
catch
the
up to
monstrous
Tang
demonic
Ao
flames for a
Xiahou
moment.
Jia also
before
had the same
continuing
thoughts,
to crush
and Xiahou
towards
Ji
Tang
knew
Ao.
that of his two
Without
sons,
any hesitation,
although Xiahou
Tang
Quantian
Ao's
was
sword
disappointing,
momentum
his
didn't
eldest
stop.
son,
Thunder
Xiahou
after
Linyuan,
thunder,
would
constantly
definitely have
gathered
extraordinary
towards Tang
accomplishments.
Ao's sword.
After
Xiahou
a moment,
Linyuan was
Tang
still
Ao's
cultivating
sword seemed to turn into a
seclusion
lightning
in house
dragon as he
Xiaohu's
raised his hand
ancestral
and
grounds.
slashed out.
He knew
A
that
huge
Xiahou
half-moon
Linyuan
lightning
had obtained
arc
some
sword
opportunities
was pushed
through
out
some
by
despicable
Tang Ao.
means.
The lightning
As long
arc
as
sword
Xiahou
Qi
Linyuan
was
came out of
incomparably
seclusion,
sharp and
how
dominating.
Xiahou,
Wherever
would
it
definitely
passed,
have the right
a
to
lot of
speak
Xiahou
in the
Linyuan's
black-yellow
monstrous demonic
Therefore,
flames were
at
destroyed.
this moment,
but
Xiahou
more black
Jia
flames
wanted
were
stall for
still
time,
crushing
even more
towards
than
Tang
Lei
Ao.
Guchu.
The sword
As for
momentum
Ing
in his
Longzi
hand
and
didn't
the other
stop.
three old
A
fellows,
phoenix cry
as long as
accompanied
even
the
one of
sword
them
cry.
died.
It
One
would be a
strike,
great
two
thing for
strikes,
him.
three
However,
strikes.
Xiahou Jia also knew that
At this
although
time,
the blood
the
demon
Green Lotus
ancestor
sword
was
in
powerful,
Tang Ao's
with Ing
hand
Longzi
seemed to have
and the
gathered
other
a kind of
three
power
joining hands,
of heaven and earth.
it would be extremely
With each
difficult
strike,
for him.
the momentum
to kill
was stronger.
even one of them.
Four
However,
strikes.
even if he
Finally,
couldn't kill them,
when Tang
causing some
Ao
injuries would be
waved the
extremely
fourth
good.
strike.
A sword Chi Phoenix bloomed
Chapter
on the Green Lotus
2083.
sword. In
Normally
an instant,
speaking,
the previously
Lei Guchu
accumulated
and
sword
Xiahou
momentum
Jia would be under
seemed
the
to have
least
found a
pressure right
vent
now,
at this moment.
Both of them were at the
Countless
first level
sword
of
momentum
the astral
and sword
reaching realm.
Chi intertwined,
Dealing with a ninth
and
level
collided
life
with a
and
curtain of
death realm
flames
warrior
in front of
like
Tang
him
Ao
would be a piece of
Kacha
cake.
Kacha. As long as he was taken care of here, they could immediately turn around and deal
Chapter
with Yan
2095.
and Bai Yanxin.
The defensive
Then,
power of
the
the
eight of
flame
them would
curtain
attack
was comparable to
demon
that of a
ancestor
first-grade
together.
immortal weapon.
Although the blood
Coupled with
demon
the
ancestor
demon
was at
devouring
the second
flame,
level of the
Tang
astral reaching
Ao
realm,
couldn't use the
he would have no
monster cleaving
choice
axe
but
to
to
hack
retreat.
He could
or
only
even
use
die
sword
under
energy
the
to
attack
block
of the
it.
eight of them.
However,
Xiahou
the two
Linyuan
were
hadn't
supposed to be the
expected
breakthrough
Tang
were playing
Ao's
tricks on him.
Seven
They were
kills
only
sage
chasing
path
him from
to be
afar
so powerful,
and were not in a hurry
The seven
to make a
kills
move.
sage path was
After
the seven
realizing
kills
this,
sex
Tang
Ao
Ao
was
technique.
overjoyed.
Although
Lei
Xiahou
Guchu
Linyuan
and
hadn't
Xiahou Jia
cultivated
were the
it
two old
before,
guys. He still had
if
some
we're one-on-one,
understanding of it. Tang
Previously,
Ao would not
Xiahou
be afraid
Linyuan
of
had
either
looked
of them.
down on the seven
However,
kills sage
dealing
path,
with both of them at the
believing
same
that
time,
it couldn't compare to how
Tang
Xiao's
Ao
technique
was a
at
bit
all.
out of his league.
Now, however,
no matter who
Xiahou
Tang
Linyuan had
Ao
changed his
attacked,
mind.
the other
The
one
flame
would
curtain
definitely
was
sneak
one
up
of
on
House
him. If it were
Xiaohu's
not for
signature
Tang
techniques.
Ao's cautiousness,
Moreover,
he would
it
have
had
already
already
been
been
tricked
tricked
by
by
the
the
two.
two.
on himself.
Tang Ao
But against
rode on his
Tang
winged
Ao,
Thunderdark cloud,
who was 2 levels
and
lower
flew
than
for a
him,
while before
how
stopping.
Xiaoho's flame
It was a
curtain
vast
was
valley,
brutally
surrounded
shattered
by
by
lush
Tang
trees
Ao's
and
flowing
seven-kill
water.
sage path.
Without any
Tang
hesitation,
Ao's sword
Tang
aura
Ao
burst
took
forth
out the
in a
formation
desolate
flag for the
and
Chi-Man
lonely
escape
sword
arc
aura
and started to
coalesced
set
in
up the
that instant.
formation.
Tang
Lei Guqiu
Ao's
and
sword
Xiahou Jia
aura seemed to
were
slow
behind
down,
Tang Ao,
but a terrifying
naturally
aura
saw Tang
seemed to be
Ao's
brewing
movements.
amidst the
However,
slowness.
they only
Finally,
sneered
when
inwardly.
the aura reached
After
its
reaching
peak,
the
a
astral
desolate
reaching
and
realm,
lonely sword
the two no
aura
longer cared
emanated
about
from
any
Tang Ao's
formation
body.
in the black yellow continent.
The
The
sword
peak of the
aura
ninth level of the
tore
life
through the
and
void
death realm
and
was
swept
only
across the
one step
surroundings.
away from the first
Most of the
level
flames
of
that
the
were
astral
bombarding
reaching realm.
Tang Ao
However,
were
this
extinguished.
one step was like a chasm between
Xiahou
heaven and
Linyuan
earth.
continued to
After
swing
reaching
the
the first level of the
demon-devouring
astral
spear in his
reaching
hand.
realm,
Beams of
two
extremely
deeply
sharp
understood
spear
the
radiance
power
wrapped
of the
in
astral
monstrous
reaching realm.
demonic flames
At this moment,
converged on
not to
Tang
mention normal
Ao
formations,
once more.
even if a
It was as if
sixth-rank
Xiahou
spear
Linyuan
formation
had
appeared
made
in
up
front
his
of the
mind
two,
to
they would be able to
incinerate
destroy
Tang
it with a
Ao
wave of their hands.
into nothingness with
If
the
Tang
demonic
Ao
flames.
had sped up to escape,
Xiahou Linyuan,
the two of them
seemed
would
to
have
feel
chased
that
after
Tang
him.
Ao's
However,
seven
when
killing
they saw
divine
that Tang
path
Ao
too
was
powerful.
only setting up
After
a magic
sweeping
array
out
in
the
front of
spear
them,
radiance,
the two of
his
them
figure
continued
flashed
to move forward
and crushed
slowly
towards
with a
Tang
tacit
Ao.
understanding.
Tang
At this
Ao
moment,
immediately took out his
and
monster
Xiahou
cleaving
Jia
axe
both sighed
and
inwardly.
swung it at
Who would have
Xiahou
thought
Linyuan's
that after
demon
so many
devouring
years
spear,
of fighting
Xiahou
between the
Linyuan's
eight
figure
great
shuddered,
sects
and he
the
took
six
half a
great
step
families,
back.
the
Tang
other party would be the
Ao
one who
felt a
truly
terrifying
understood
force
them.
coming from
When
the
he saw that
monster
Lei Guqiu
cleaving
and
axe,
Xiahou Jia were
and
still
Tang
leisurely
Ao
chasing
was
after him,
instantly sent
Tang
flying.
Ao
Overjoyed.
knew that
These
Xiahou
two old
Linyuan
fellas
was
were
powerful,
simply courting death.
but Tang Ao
The
didn't
array
expect
flag
Xiahou
of the
Linyuan
Qimendun
to be this
Jiarei was a
powerful.
grade
However,
3 immortal
after being
array.
sent flying by
Tang
Xiahou
Ao
Linyuan,
couldn't set up
Tang
such an
Ao's
array,
face lit up,
nor could Tang
without
Ao
any
refine
hesitation.
such
The wind,
array flags.
thunder, nether
However,
cloud condensed
Tang
under his
Ao
feet,
had to admit
and he
that the
instantly
immortal
fled into the
array
distance.
master who created
Xiahou
the Qimendun
Linyuan
Jiarei
also formed
was
a
a
hand
genius.
seal.
After
and a
he had
flame
set up
curtain
the Qimendun
appeared
Jiarei,
instantly.
however,
He had engraved
this
all
flame
the
curtain
variations
with
and
flickering
combinations
runes
appeared in
of the
front
array
of
on the
Tang
tortoise
Ao
seal.
before. As long
But
as he
this
had the
time,
tortoise seal,
it appeared behind
even a
Tang
normal grade
Ao
1
only
immortal
after
array
Tang
master
Ao
could easily
flashed away.
set up the
Oh no,
Qimendun Jiarei.
Xiahou Linyuan
However,
whispered,
since
and
grade 1
immediately
immortal array
chased
masters
after
couldn't
Tang
understand
Ao
the power
with
of a
endless
grade
devil
3
flames
immortal
wrapped
array.
around his body.
Even with the help
From
of
the beginning of the
tortoise seal,
battle,
it would still
Tang
take them some
Ao
time to set up
avoided
the Qimendun
fighting
Jiarei
and
kept looking for opportunities to dodge. Chapter 2084. Just now,
as Tang
when he saw
Ao
Tang
threw out the
Ao
last array
struggling
flag,
on the verge
the
of death,
tortoise shell seal
Xiahou
and Tang
Linyuan
Ao's
and
hand
Tang
suddenly
Ao
flickered
collided,
and then calmed
although
down.
in the collision
After
moment
Tang
ago,
Ao
Xiahou
performed
Linyuan
hand
had the
seal,
advantage.
the
Space
Tang
around
Ao
Tang
still
Ao
escaped with the help of the wind,
then,
thunder, nether
to Lei
cloud.
Guqiu's
However,
and Xiahou Jia's
although
surprise,
Tang Ao escaped,
Tang Ao's
Xiahou
figure
Linyuan
suddenly
didn't let Tang
disappeared
Ao
into thin
go.
air.
His figure
Lei
moved
Guqiu
and immediately
Xiahou
chased
Jia
after
exchanged a look.
The two of them
and
chased
both of them sped up
and ran for
no matter how
thousands of
long they
miles
delayed.
in an instant.
It wouldn't be a
In the
problem
surrounding
as long
sea,
as they could kill
the
demon
Tang
beasts
Ao
at the
in the
bottom
end.
of the sea.
However,
felt the powerful
if Tang
aura of
Ao
the two of them
managed to
and
escape
instantly
because of
hid
their
in the
delay,
deep sea,
then
they
they
would have
didn't dare
committed a
to show
grave
their
sin.
heads.
After
After
the
the
two
nearby
of them sped up,
warriors saw
they
this
arrived
scene,
at the valley.
they were also
in an
extremely
instant.
shocked.
However,
Tang
the valley was
Ao
empty,
like a purple
and there was no
thunderbolt
sign of Tang Ao
exploding in the sky.
But soon,
and
the two of them
constantly
realized
fleeing.
something.
Xiahou
and
Linyuan
immediately
was chasing
retreated.
Tang
However,
Ao
they were shocked to find
He
that
swept
as they
up the
retreated,
monstrous
the
devil
surrounding
flames
space
like a peerless
immediately
demon
changed rapidly. Soon, the picturesque valley had turned into a
Chapter
dark hell.
2096.
Although the two of them were
It
also
should be
stunned
right,
by
but how can the
Tang
person
Ao's array,
behind us be
they didn't give
so
it at all.
terrifying?
One must know that
Insignificant
sect
tricks.
leader Tang
Watch how I break
Ao
the array.
fought
Lei
against
Guqiu's
7
body
experts from the
flickered
7
with
forces a
endless
year
lightning.
ago.
Lightning
even
snakes
killed two of them.
slithered
This
through the
person can
void,
actually
and
force
traces
traces
of
of
lightning
lightning
spread
spread
out
out
to
to
the
flee in
surrounding
panic.
space.
He seems
Soon,
to be the eldest
entire
young
space
master of the
became a
Xiahou
terrifying
family of the
lightning
antiquity.
magnetic
Xiahou
field.
Linyuan. While
Xiahou
everyone
Jia,
was discussing,
who was originally
Xiahou
standing
Linyuan
beside
and
Lei
Tang
Guqiu,
Ao had long
retreated
gone
a
far
little
away.
in fear.
Tang Ao's
At the same
face
time,
was a little
Xiahou
ugly.
Jia
Although
nodded
this
inwardly.
Xiahou Linyuan's
Lei
speed was
Guqiu
not
had
as
indeed
fast as the wind
improved
Thunderdark
after
cloud.
cultivating
It was
in
not much
seclusion
slower
for 1,000
The
years.
spiritual energy
Warriors
in
of the
Tang
Thunder
Ao's
lineage
body
could
was
be
not
said to be
as
born
rich
with the
as
ability
Xiahou
to
Linyuan's.
restrain
If
all
this
kinds
continued,
of array
once
formations.
Tang Ao's
Therefore, Lei
spiritual
Guqiu
energy
didn't
was
panic
exhausted,
even after
he could
being
only
trapped
wait
by
for
Tang
Xiahou
Ao's array
Linyuan to slaughter
formation.
him.
But how
Moreover,
could Tang Ao
Xiahou
let him break
Linyuan
the
was
array
chasing after
so
him relentlessly.
easily?
So Tang
Ao
instantly
could
formed
only
a
go
few
straight
seals.
all the way.
Shortly
and
after,
did not dare to
numerous
change direction.
nether metal chains appeared
Otherwise,
in the surrounding
when
space.
Tang Ao
and
changed
lashed
direction,
towards Lei Guqiu,
one Xiahou
who was in the
Linyuan
center
surrounded him from
formation.
behind.
Lei Guqiu
and Tang
frowned
Ao
when he saw the
was once
endless
again
nether
trapped
steel
by
chains.
Xiahou Linyuan's
This was a
flame
crucial
curtain.
moment.
It would
for
not
him
be so
to
easy for
circulate
Tang
his energy
Ao
to escape
if he was
again.
distracted
Along the way,
the power of
Tang
his AO himself
lightning
did not
haze
know
would be
how
weakened
long
by 30%
and how far he had fled.
Fortunately,
in any case,
Xiao Jia
Tang
also
AO
saw Lei
did not
Guchu's
look at the route at
predicament.
all.
He
He just
immediately raised
identified
his
a
hand
direction
and
threw
threw
out a
spared
ball
no
of
effort
gray
to move
flames.
forward.
This
Until
ball
these
of gray
words,
flames
when Tang
was like a
AO
candle
felt
in
a
the wind,
trace of
as though
demonic
it could be
chi
extinguished
surrounding
with a
heaven
single
and
breath.
earth.
However,
Only then
when
did
this
Tang
ball of flame
AO
appeared within the
recover from his
Chimin
numbskull.
Dunjia formation,
This kind of aura
the
was
temperature
very
within the
familiar to
entire
Tang
formation
AO.
rose
It was the
sharply.
same aura
Even
that he
space
had in the
itself
flying star
felt
continent's
as though it was on the
great
verge
array,
of igniting.
the aura that
When
led to the
incomparably
five
powerful
elements demonic
netherworld
territory.
chains
Could it be
bombarded
that
the
this
gray
space was
flames?
close to the
They
five
instantly
elements
emitted a
demonic
green
territory
smoke, or
and then disappeared.
Immediately,
Inside the array,
Tang Ao
activated his
was
heavenly
inwardly
polar
shocked
pupils
when he saw
and scanned his
Shaho,
surroundings.
Jezebel of
The
flame.
five
It
elements
was a fully
demonic
refined
region was the
grade,
closest
one
place
immortal
to
flame,
the black-yellow
the
kind.
ashen nightmare
There are
flame.
even a lot of passages
Just like its
between
name,
the five
the
elements
ashen
demonic
flame
region
burns
and the black
everything
yellow
that comes
kind.
close to it.
Tang
to
Ao knew
ashes.
about this.
With the protection
Tang
of
Ao
Shaho,
even knew of a
Jiez,
few
ashen
space
nightmare
passages
flame.
that were suspected to be between
Leguchu
the five
immediately
elements
relaxed
demonic region
and focused
and the black
all his
yellow
attention
kind.
on condensing
However,
the power
even
of
though
thunder.
Tang Ao
However,
was at the peak
at
of
this moment,
astral reaching
Leguchu
realm level 9
immediately
in his previous
frowned.
life.
That was
Tang
because he
Ao
could feel
had
a
never been to
powerful
the five
aura
elements
locking
demonic
onto
region.
him.
It
Under
was
this
rumored
aura,
that the five
no matter how he
element
tried to
demon
escape,
domain
he
was
wouldn't
the
be able to
territory
avoid
of the
Tang
demon clan.
Ao's next
Although
attack.
the demon clan was constantly in internal
Chapter
strife.
2085.
They were united in
the
their
ancestral
rejection
land
of
of
the ancient
outsiders.
Shaho family
If
was
Tang
filled
Ao
with
went to the
desolate,
five element
ancient
demon domain
and primitive aura,
he would be in great
at this
danger
moment
if he was
Shaho
surrounded by
Linyuan
many
was sitting
demon clan
quietly
experts.
in the depths
However,
of the ancestral
at this moment,
land of the
Tang
ancient
Ao
Shaho
had
family.
no choice
At a certain
but to make
moment,
a choice
Shaho
because Tang
Linyuan,
Ao
who had been sitting there for God
not far
knows how
ahead.
long,
Below the vortex
suddenly opened
was a
his
shattered
eyes.
space.
Two beams of
Therefore,
essence chi
all the
shot
demon
out
chi
from
was
Shaho
seeping out
Linyuan's
from the
eyes,
shattered space,
and the powerful aura shattered some of the rocks
Therefore,
around him.
Tang Ao
Shaho
guessed
Linyuan
that this was a
moved his
space
body
passage
and
leading
stood
to
in
the
the air.
five elements
He raised his
demonic
hand
region.
and waved,
Looking at Shaho
and a starry
Linyuan,
sky
who
appeared
was
above
chasing after him
Shaho
relentlessly.
Linyuan's
Tang
head.
Ao
Endless
finally
star
made a
power
decision.
poured
Brother
towards
Shaho
Linyuan.
Don't chase me anymore.
Strengthening his
Why come
already
back next
powerful
time?
aura. I will definitely
Then,
return
Shaho
all the
Linyuan's hands
humiliation I've
continuously
suffered
formed a
today.
series of hand
As soon as
signals.
Tang Ao
Soon after,
finished speaking,
streams of
his
pitch
body
black flames
dropped into the
appeared
ocean
around
immediately.
Shaho Linyuan.
Tang Ao's
Shaho
body
Linyuan
moved
casually
and soon
made
arrived
a
at the
grabbing
space
motion.
crack below
In
the
an
vortex.
ancient-looking spear
Without
burning
any
with
hesitation,
black flames appeared in
Tang Ao's
Shaho
body
Linyuan's
flashed.
hand.
This
And he
spear was
escaped
called
into
the
the space
demon-devouring
crack.
spear.
The moment Tang
It had always
Ao
been in the
escaped into the
ancestral
void
land
crack
of the Shaho
Tang
family,
Ao
and no one had been able to
immediately
use
hid
it.
in the chaotic
But today,
six-light mirror.
Shaho Linyuan
If not for the
finally
chaotic
picked up
six-light
the
mirror,
demon-devouring spear.
Tang Ao
Shaho
would not
Linyuan
have dared to do
abruptly
this.
threw out
This
a
kind of
spear
void
attack.
crack was full of
The
space
powerful
storms
killing
and
chi
space blades,
seemed to be able to
both of
pierce
which
through
were
the
very
air.
fatal
Where
to Tang
Shaho
Ao.
Linyuan attacked,
Whether he was swept by the
air
space
did not
storms
shatter,
or the
but
space
tiny
blades,
cracks
it was
appeared.
very likely that
Shaho
Tang
Linyuan
Ao
was
would
very
be cut into
satisfied.
pieces.
After adjusting his
Tang
aura,
Ao
Shaho
entered the space
Linyuan
in the
said to the
chaotic
purple
six-light
star in the
mirror.
air,
Tang
"Thank you,
Ao
Qin
immediately saw
Without
that
the help
Shaho
of the purple
Linyuan
star,
did not give
no
up
matter how
and chased
monstrous
after him.
Shaho Linyuan's
However,
martial talent
the moment
was,
Shaho Linyuan
he would not have been able to
entered the
break
void
through
crack,
to the
he
second
immediately
level
spat out a
astral
mouthful
reaching
of
realm.
blood.
In
A
such
sharp
a
space
short period
blade
of time.
directly
At the same
slashed
time,
through Shaho
he would not have
Linyuan's
been able to
waist,
train the
almost cutting
demon-devouring
Shaho
spear
Linyuan
and the
into two
second
pieces.
rank immortal
Fortunately,
fire.
at this time,
the demon-devouring
Shaho
flame.
Linyuan's body
With a thought,
surged
Shaho
with the
Linyuan put
demonic
away the star
devouring
phenomenon.
flame.
And
Shaho
he quickly
Linyuan
retreated.
made his way
Although he had
out of
escaped
house,
from the space
Shaho's
passage, his
ancestral
aura
realms.
was extremely
He didn't know
weak.
how long he'd
Seeing
stayed
this
in house
scene,
Shaho's
Tang
ancestral
Ao
land.
secretly
But as soon
felt
as
that
the
it was a pity.
amethyst
If
destiny
Shaho
fate
Linyuan's
spirit
body was
completely
even
merged
a
with
little
him,
faster,
Shaho Linyuan
after being
knew
cut by
that
the
Qin
space
Yuesh
blade,
was
Shaho
dead.
Linyuan's body
Moreover,
would immediately
the time of his
be
death
torn into
was
pieces
faster
by the
than he
space
had
storm.
imagined.
He didn't know who killed Qin Yuesh. Or perhaps Qin Yuesh
Chapter
felt that she didn't have
2097.
long to live.
However,
and committed
the
suicide.
surrounding spatial cracks
But as
were
Qin
just as
Yuesh's
Tang
husband and
Ao
name
had
he had to go
expected.
out and
The
ask.
sole remembrance
In the
that he
Chiman
released
Dunjia
was
formation,
immediately
Tang Ao
shattered by
held the
endless
primordial
spatial
sacred
storm.
sky bow
After
in
an
his hand,
unknown period
and
of
suddenly
time,
shot an arrow.
Tang Ao
This
saw
arrow
a glimmer
seemed
of
to have
light
condensed
in front
the
of him.
power,
Then
heaven,
a
and
huge
earth.
repulsive force
This arrow
came and
seemed
pushed
to
the
have
chaotic
condensed the
six-light
power
mirror
of all
towards the
directions.
light.
A
Then,
golden trajectory
Tang Ao saw that he had
through
arrived
the
at a
air,
place where
leaving
beastly
streaks
roars
of
could be
marks
heard in its way.
and smoke rose
An aura
from all
of
directions.
death
After
instantly
leaving the
filled
spatial
the entire
Chiman
Tang
Dunjia
Ao
formation,
instantly came
Leguchu's
out of the chaotic
eyes
six
widened in
light
shock when he
mirror
sensed that
space.
Tang Ao's
Immediately,
attack
he
had
backhanded
reached
his
such a level
hand
and hit the spatial crack.
However,
just
he
now.
calmed down
immediately
when he sensed
after
that his
Tang
8,000 volts of
Ao
lightning
revealed a
had been
helpless
completely
expression
condensed.
because when Tang
Leguchu took a
Ao's soul
deep breath
remembrance
and his
imprint
aura
shot
exploded.
towards the empty
Bolts
space,
of lightning as
there
was
thick
nothing
as an
in the
arm
empty
danced
space.
around the
Then,
Chiman
without waiting for Tang,
these
Ao
bolts
to
of
think
lightning
more,
converged
a
in
terrifying
front of
force
Lei
fell
Guqiu,
from the sky,
quickly
as if it
forming
wanted
a
to push
sea of
Tang
lightning
Ao
in front
into
of
the
him.
ground.
A giant
Damn,
bathed
forbidden
in
space
lightning
restriction
stood up from
Tang
within
Ao
the
was
sea of
simply
lightning.
speechless.
The giant
He
had
had
passed
passed
through
through
the
lion's
void
head
and had
held
actually
a demon
bumped into the
subduing
forbidden
pestle in
space
his
restriction.
hand.
After
Moreover,
locking onto the
this
profound
forbidden
sky,
space restriction
arrow
was
shot
naturally
by the
formed,
primordial
so
sacred
it was
sky
obvious that it
vow.
was not
The
man-made.
giant swung the pestle
Under the
at
terrifying
arrow.
pressure
Boom.
of the
Rumble.
forbidden space restriction, Even Tang Ao
Chapter
was
2086.
instantly pressed down. If Tang
At this
Ao
moment,
had been in
Tang
Lei
Ao
Guchu's place,
was like a
even
comet
with the Shinnon
rushing
rushing
towards the crowd below.
Tang Ao,
This amazing
wouldn't have been in much
force
better
made
shape
Tang
than Lei Guchu.
Ao feel
But
that if an
now,
ordinary
because
life
Tang
and death
Ao
expert
was
fell
very
like
far
this,
away,
they might be
although he was
seriously
also
injured.
affected by this
Tang
powerful
Ao
aura
instantly summoned
after
the
the
battle
former god called
Saint
an
Bone
offsetting.
Life Soul.
This fluctuation
The friction
had weakened
between
a
the
lot.
battle's Saint Bone
Therefore,
Life Soul
Tang Ao
and the
only
surrounding
felt that his
air
blood
produced
and
a
chi were a bit
terrifying sonic
unsteady.
boom.
On
The
the other
spiritual
side,
power
Lei
in
Guchu
Tang
spat
Ao's
out a
body
mouthful
surged.
of blood.
After falling
Xiahou
for
Jie was
thousands of
shocked
feet
to see
Tang
Tang
Ao
Ao
injuring
completely
Lei
stabilize his
Guchu
body
with a single blow.
Then he
Tang
immediately
Ao
unleashed
continued
a
to
sea
fall.
of flames
Finally, with a
and
boom,
bombarded the
Tang
Qingmen
Ao
Dunjia
appeared
formation
directly
in the
in the crowd
surroundings.
below.
The
Xiahou
appearance
Jie
of Tang
already knew
Ao
that Tang
shocked
Ao
both
could
sides
summon the
of the
power
battle.
of heaven
After
and earth
seeing
to exhaust
everyone
the
looking
two of
at
them
him,
at any
Tang
time,
Ao,
with the help
suddenly
of this
felt a
strange
little
formation.
uncomfortable.
Therefore,
Tang Ao
fighting with
saw
Tang
that it was a
Ao
group of human
inside
warriors
this formation
fighting
was
with a group of
extremely
beast
disadvantageous.
According
to
to
Tang Ao's
Lei Guchu's
understanding,
mistake
was
even
a
if there were
bloody
human
example.
race martial
But when
artists
Xiahou
in Five
Jie's
Elements
flames
Demon
bombarded
Domain,
the Qingmen Dunjia
their numbers
formation,
would be very few.
the formation,
however,
shook violently.
what Tang Ao
but didn't show
did
any
not
signs
expect
of being damaged.
was that the number of
Xiahou
human
Jie
race
panicked
martial
when he
artists
saw
fighting
this.
with the beast
He and
race
Lei
martial
Guchu had been
artists
too
was not
careless
less than
just
that
now.
of the beast race
They shouldn't have
artists.
underestimated
Moreover,
Tang
these
Ao's
beast race
formation.
warriors were
They'd
not
taken the
from a
risk
single
to
beast
barge
race.
in, even though they
Tang
knew
Ao
there
saw
was
the
a
heavenly
here.
wolf race,
Xiahou
the
Jie
black
was
tiger
sure that
race,
as long as
and the
he
cloud
and
leopard
Lei
race.
Guchu worked
Of
together,
course,
they
there
would
were
be
some
able
weaker
to
beasts
destroy
as
this
well.
formation
However,
in no time at all.
Tang Ao
Unfortunately,
barely
it was
recognized
too late to say
any of
anything
them.
now.
This time,
because at this
Tang
moment,
Ao
an
landed in a
aura
very
similar
bad
to the
place.
one that had locked
Tang
onto Lei
Ao
Guchu
fell from
had
the sky
locked onto
and
directly
Xiahou Jie.
trampled a warrior
Xiahou
from the ninth
Jie's
floor
soul
of
almost
Linghai
left his
Jing
body
to death.
He sent out a
At
web
this
of
moment,
fire.
the human race
forming a
martial
shield of
artists
fire
were
in front of him.
immediately
Still
overjoyed.
worried,
Xiahou Jie summoned ashen
Just
nightmare
now,
flames.
this warrior from the
Immediately,
heavenly wolf
Xiahou
race
Jie
was
focused
invincible
all his
among
attention
the human
on
race
defending
martial
against
artists.
Tang Ao's
His pair of
fatal
sharp
blow.
claws had
Lei
killed
Guchu's
countless human
miserable
race
state
martial
was
artists.
still fresh. in his
Originally,
mind.
everyone
If he
was
wasn't
still
careful,
waiting for the
he might
expert
follow
from
on
Monolith
Lei
City
Guchu's
to come
footsteps
and subdue him.
Brother Lei,
However,
I'll block him. No one
you quickly
expected that
break
someone
the
would suddenly
formation.
fall from the
As
sky
long as this
and
formation
trample
breaks,
the peak of the
this
ninth
brat
floor
will still
of
be a
Linghai
lamb
Jing to
for
death.
us to slaughter.
Senior, are
While
you an
preparing
expert
to
from
defend
Monolith
against
City
Tang
who came
Ao's
support
attack?
us?
Among
Xiahou
the human
Jie
race
hurriedly
martial
said to Lei
artists,
Guchu
a
behind
young
him.
girl in
Lei
chainmail
Guchu
armor
naturally
naturally
came
knew
to her
that
senses
although the two
and
of them were
asked.
astral
An expert
reaching
from
realm
Monolith
warriors,
City, they would
after
not be
hearing
able to
this,
gain any
Tang
advantage
Ao
over Tang
wanted to casually
Ao,
agree.
even if they
However,
worked together.
Then he
Lei
remembered that
Guchu
the various
gathered
forces
his
in the
spiritual
five
power again.
elements demon
This time,
domain were
he didn't
complicated,
continue to attack
so it was better
Tang
not to
Ao.
casually assume
Instead,
an identity.
he spread the endless lightning around him into the void.
Soon,
Chapter
the lightning around
2098.
Lei Guchu
After
touched
cultivating
an
the
invisible
Tang
barrier.
Ao's level,
Lei Guchu
he actually didn't
was
discriminate
overjoyed
against
because he
humans,
knew that this
beasts,
void barrier was
and
many
the edge
iterations
of the Qingmen
This was because on the
Dunjia
path of
formation.
cultivation,
As long as this barrier was
one had
destroyed,
intelligence
the
and could
Qingmen
cultivate,
Dunjia formation
he or she could become
would
a
immediately
powerhouse
be destroyed
and reach the peak
right
of martial
now.
Dao.
Inside
You
the
killed Lord
formation,
Whitebrow.
Tang Ao
You can't leave.
was using the power
When Tang
of nature
Ao
to
said
suppress
he was
the
about
two.
to leave,
A Sky Wolf
Plus,
race martial
Tang
artist
Ao had a
unexpectedly
very
spoke
powerful
to
bow in
Tang
his hand.
Ao. Even
However,
if the two of them
Tang
used
Ao
all of their
directly
skills,
ignored
they would
his
not be
words.
able to fight
Tang
against Tang
Ao
Ao. Scan the area
However,
with his soul
as long as this
formation
this seemed to be a low-level
the situation would be
battlefield
different.
between human
With that
and
thought in
beast
mind,
race martial artists.
Lei Guchu
in this
did not
area
hesitate at
there
all.
were basically
He raised
only
his
some
hand
origin
and
martial
threw a punch
realm
at the
sea
Qingmen
of soul
Dunjia
realm
formation.
humans
In
Lei
beast fight.
Guchu's punch
The unlucky
attracted
guy Tang
endless
Ao
lightning.
had just stomped
Under the
to death was at
bombardment
the peak
of
of the
the
ninth
lightning.
floor.
The
of
Qingmen
Linghai Jing.
Dunjia
In this
formation
battlefield, he could be
shook
considered
violently.
the strongest.
Even
Even invisible
on the human
barriers
side,
started to crack.
the
two strongest were merely the seventh floor of Linghai
Chapter
Jing.
2087.
Tang Ao,
With that thought in
naturally
mind,
didn't have the
Tang
slightest
Ao
bit of
fired the
interest
mysterious
in this
heavenly
level battle.
arrow in his hand.
Moreover, in an instant,
what Tang
an
Ao
aura
wanted to do
of
now
death
was
enveloped
not to get
Xiahou
involved in the
Jie.
battle between
Xiahou
humans
Jie
and
didn't
beasts.
dare to be careless.
Instead,
he wanted to
endless
find
web
a
of quiet place to cultivate in seclusion, interweaving to form a dense barrier of flame. After breaking through to the immediately reaching realm, the ashen flame would figure out how to return to the black yellow continent. A huge gray fireball enveloped Xiahou. Tang Ao had the strength of the instant the mysterious heavenly arrow facing Xiahou Linyuan collided. He could only be gray fireball suppressed. Xiahou Jie's after Tang Ao broke through to the astral reaching realm. In this Qi Duanjia formation, The
martial
two of them were
artists
no
with the
match
9
for
dragons,
Tang Ao.
Emperor Jade
Before Xiahou
would
Jie
not
could say
encounter
anything.
bottlenecks.
However,
As long as their
he watched
Tao
in
heart
horror
was clear
as another
during
profound
cultivation.
sky
However,
arrow flew at
with
it.
how powerful
This
the
mysterious
9
heavenly
dragons'
arrow
Emperor Jade
wasn't
was
as
terrifying
the amount
as the
of cultivation
previous two,
resources
because
it
it
required
hadn't
was
been charged.
equally frightening.
But by now,
although there were
the
still
mysterious
many
heavenly
extreme
arrow had
great
already
spirit
cast
stones
Xiahou
in Tang
Jie.
Ao's
Xiahou
six-light mirror
Jie cursed
space.
inwardly.
And
Why
Tang
hadn't he
Ao
brought the
believed that as
space-breaking
long as he
talisman
absorbed
from his family?
these extreme
If he
great
had the
spirit
space-breaking
stones to
talisman,
cultivate,
he would
could have
definitely be
easily
able to
left
break
this
through
place.
to the
When Lei
astral-reaching
Guchu saw
realm
that
in
Tang
less
Ao's
than
target
3
this
years.
time was
However,
Xiahou Jie,
Tang
and not
Ao
him.
really didn't want
He
to
was
wait
overjoyed.
This
A pair of
time,
iron
he had
fists
escaped
surrounded
by
5
lightning
elements
rained
demonic
down
realm
on the Chimin
and
knew
Dunjia
nothing about
formation
the
barrier.
black-yellow
Cracks quickly appeared on the void
Tang Ao
barrier.
didn't know
on
what was
Lei
going on in
Guchu's
the
body.
battlefield of the
As Lei
blood demon
Guchu's
ancestor
fists
and the
continued to
others.
fall.
The
Also,
cracks in the void
whether martial
expanded
Uncle
rapidly,
Zichun and
Lei
Lei
Guchu
Guchu
gathered
safely
all his
escaped or
strength
not.
into a fist
What made Tang
and
Ao
punched down again.
secretly
Immediately
rejoice was
Lei
that
Guchu
Xiahou
heard a
Linyuan
Kacha
had
sound.
forcibly
The
charged
sound was like
into
the
the
sound of
spatial crack
nature in the
and was
ears of
heavily
Lei
injured.
Guchu.
Even if it was
and
Xiahou
Xiahou
Linyuan,
Lei
he wouldn't
Guchu
be able to
was
recover
sure that
in
if he
less than
punched
half
again,
a month.
the situation
During this
would be
period,
reversed.
the people of
But
Seven
before
Kill
Lei
Sect
Guchu
would have
could
already
punch
returned.
again. The feeling of death enveloped as
Lei
long as the
Guchu
defense
once
array
more.
that the blood
Lei
demon
Guchu
ancestor
turned his
himself
head
had
and
left
immediately
behind
felt
existed.
like he
the Seven
was in a
Kill Sect
silent,
would definitely
desolate
be
world.
safe. Everything
Apart
was
from the
silent
blood demon
in this
ancestor,
world.
but there was a
Yin
sound that
Zichen
seemed
and
to
the
have
warriors from the
existed
Green Lotus
since
Valley
time
were also there.
immemorial.
With all
Lei
these
Guchu
experts
was very
working
familiar
together
with this sound.
and the sect
It was the
protecting
cry of a
Grand
sword.
Formation. However,
Even if the remaining
Lei Guchu
5
had already
old
made up
monsters
his mind.
from the 7 forces
Even if he had to
joined
take a
forces
blow from
to
Tang
attack
Ao,
the 7 Kill
he would
Sect,
destroy
they
this
would definitely
demon
not
Dunjia
be able to break
formation.
through.
When Lei
Due
Guchu
to the fact that Tang
punched again,
Ao had
a rain
descended
of
from the
blood
sky
danced
and
on
killed
Lei
Guchu's
Guchu's
body.
All
Before
the
Lei
humans were looking
Guchu
at Tang
could
Ao
react with
a
respect.
desolate and lonely
However,
sword
the
essence
people of the
swept
beast
out
race
and
revealed
directly
ominous looks
minced
in
Lei
their
Guchu
eyes.
into pieces.
Especially the people
At
of
this
the
moment,
Heavenly Wolf
Xiahou
race.
Jie was
They
so
wished
scared
that they
that
could
his soul
kill Tang
almost
Ao.
left his body.
Although the Heavenly Wolf tribe's name
ignored the
is
mysterious
domineering,
sky,
the
arrow
Heavenly Wolf
behind
tribe's
him
momentum
and took out
is
a
only a
flaming
weak
broadsword,
tribe among the
slashing
beast
it at the
clans.
crack that
The
Lei
Heavenly
Guchu
Wolf
had
tribe's
created.
tribesmen
Who?
that Tang
Bang.
Ao
Kacha.
killed by mistake
Xiahou Jie
is considered a
slashed
pretty
at
good
the formation
powerhouse
once
among
more,
the Heavenly Wolf
and a
tribe.
hole finally appeared in the Chimin Dunjia formation. At the same time, however,
Chapter
Tang Ao's
2099.
profound heaven
Tang
arrow
Ao,
blasted
of course,
Xiahou didn't know that he had caused
left
such a
shoulder to
huge
pieces.
impact. Xiahou
At this
Jie's
moment,
aura
Tang
instantly
Ao
withered.
had already
But at this
arrived
moment,
at a mountain range.
Xiahou Jie
Tang
couldn't
Ao
care less.
had as
many cultivation resources
his
as he
body
wanted.
flashed
With the amount of
and he
supreme
ran out of the
great spirit
formation.
stones Tang
Then,
Ao had,
without any
as long as
hesitation,
Tang Ao
he ran
wanted,
back
he could
to the
easily
Xiahou
cultivate
family.
to the 9th
2
level of
astral-reaching
realm
realm
warriors were chasing
However,
a life and
Tang
death
Ao
realm
couldn't
warrior.
wait that long.
But in the end,
With the inheritance
not only did
memories
this
of
life
Underworld
and death
Emperor
realm warrior
and
not
other
die,
chaotic heaven
he even
realm
killed
experts.
an astral reaching
Tang
realm
Ao
warrior
naturally
and wounded
knew
him badly.
that in a low-grade
if he hadn't
place like the
experienced
Black
himself,
Yellow continent,
he wouldn't have
after
believed
cultivating to the
after seeing
astral reaching
Xiahou
realm,
Jie
one's
escape.
cultivation
Tang
speed will
Ao
become
flipped his
infinitely
hand
slower.
and collected Lei
Tang Ao
Guchu's
had
storage
yet to
ring with his
cultivate
spirit
to the
power.
astral
However,
reaching realm.
Tang Ao didn't chase
after
was
Xiahou
merely
Jie,
at the 9th
after
level
taking
of
out a
life
pellet
and death
and
realm.
swallowing it.
Cultivating on the
Tang
Black Yellow
Ao
continent. His
immediately
cultivation
sat on the
speed
ground
was already
and
much
started
slower.
to adjust his breathing.
Therefore,
Xiahou
Tang
Jie
Ao
and Lei Guchu
urgently
were
needed to
both
break
first
through
level
to the
astral
first level
reaching
of
realm
astral
warriors.
reaching realm.
Even with the help
and then
of the
return
Chimin
to deal
Dunjia
with the
formation,
7 Kill Sect.
it would already take
After
Tang
dealing with
Ao
everything
all
in
his
the
efforts
Black
to
Yellow
stop
continent.
one of them.
If you want to stop both of them,
prepare to go
Tang
to the
Ao
ice
couldn't
snow
do it
plains.
yet.
Even
After
so,
picking up Chu
this
Xiahou,
Jie
he would
wouldn't
head
be
to the
able to
true
escape
martial
today.
world. Although
There was
Tang
another matter
Ao
that
hadn't
made
been able to
Tang
stop Xiahou
Ao
Jie. He
somewhat
had still
puzzled.
been wounded badly
Tang
by
Ao had
Tang
been in
Ao.
the 5 elements
Moreover,
demonic realm
Tang
for so
Ao
long,
had left a soul
but Tang
remembrance
Ao
mark
hadn't
on since the
Xiahou Jie's
location
body.
of Tang Horror.
At this moment,
and Tang Ao
it should be
could
known that
clearly
when the
sense
Underworld
that
Emperor's
Xiahou
secret
Jie didn't
realm
go
collapsed,
back to the
Tang
mysterious Heaven
Horror
City.
Instead, he ran in the direction of the five elements demonic realm. How come after so long? Chapter 2088 still hadn't sensed the two's existence. Exhaled in the depths of the five elements demonic realm was the place where the strongest races gathered sounds. The other places stretching his five elements demonic realm were basically occupied by humans. These people wanted to kill various beasts. So Tang Ao had come. However, now that in this place beat him, where the spiritual power of heaven, how could there be such a good deal in the world? There were only because he had planted a soul remembrance imprint on Xiahou Jia. Of course, even among these 10 beast races, the dragon race Tang Ao's perception. The dragon race was synonymous with a thought from Tang Ao. The wind, at the same time, the dragon race was also the race with the most branches among the beast. Immediately after, however, Tang Ao's body trembled and disappeared. There was also
Xiahou
a
Jie
mix
didn't
of good
return
and
to
bad among
Xintian
them.
City.
The most powerful
Instead, he fled in the
five-clawed
direction
golden
of
dragon
House
tribe,
Xiahou.
the glacial
Even at his
dragon
peak,
tribe.
Xiahou
And the
Jie
burning
wasn't
flame
as
true
fast
dragon
as
tribe
Tang
were
Ao.
extremely
After
powerful.
being injured by
But the
Tang
Earth
Ao's
Dragon's primordial
whose
sacred
bloodlines
sky
were
vow,
constantly weakening,
Xiahou Jie's current
were
speed
gradually
was breaking
ridiculously
away
slow.
from the dragon tribe.
However, because
at that
Xiahou
moment,
Jie had
in
a
a
head
palace
start,
of the
it
icy
would take
phantom
Tang
dragon
Ao some time to
race.
catch up.
Tang Yu,
Without any
who was
hesitation,
dressed in a blue brocade
Tang
robe,
Ao
and
controlled
Tang
the
He,
Wind Thunder
who was
Nether
dressed
Cloud
in a
with all his
bright
might
red dress,
and chased
were sitting
after
together.
Xiahou Jie.
Tang Hua,
Now that he
blinked and
killed
pouted.
Lei Guqiu,
No,
I've
only
been to the places
Xiahou
you mentioned
Jie's group of
previously.
7 could
There's no
threaten
spatial
the
passageway
7
at all.
kill sect.
I still can't
now that
leave
Xiahou
this
Jie had been
godforsaken
wounded by
place.
the sacred origin
Sorry.
vow, it was the perfect opportunity to kill
I found a formation
There was no way
in the
Tang
ancestral
Ao
land
was going to let
of
him
the
go.
Frost Phantom Dragon
Spirit
clan.
power surged.
This formation
through Tang
connects the
Ao's
black
body.
yellow continent.
The thunderstorm
snow
dark cloud
plains,
beneath
and
his
a few
feet
neighboring
rumbled like
continents.
thunder.
However,
leaving a
the
streak
formation
of
is
violet
too
light
badly
in the
damaged
air.
and can
Many
no
people
longer be
saw
used.
this purple
After
light
Tang Hua
streaking across
and
the sky.
Tang Yu broke through,
but no one
to the
noticed that it was
astral
Tang
reaching
Ao.
realm.
Of the
two
two
began
who'd
to
gone
search
after
for a
Tang
way to
Ao,
leave the 5
Lei
elements
Guqiu
demonic realm.
and Xiahou Jie
However,
were already dead
after
and
searching
wounded.
for a while,
One dead.
the two were
Lei
quite
Guqiu had been
helpless.
killed by Tang
Previously,
Ao's
the most
8
stable
trigram
passageway from the
sword
5
aura,
elements
and
demonic
Xiahou
realm
Jie was
to the
running for
black
his
yellow
life.
continent,
Though
was
he
to a
fled
place
far
near
enough
the
that he'd be
underworld
back at
Emperor's
House
secret
Xiahou
realm.
in 2 hours.
Moreover,
he
could
still
also
felt a
directly
great
return
sense
to
of
the
danger.
5 elements
Having
demonic
cultivated
realm
to
from
this
there.
level,
However,
Xiahou Jie didn't
after the underworld
think
Emperor's
it was an illusion.
secret realm disappeared,
Sensing a sense of danger,
this passageway
was bound to
also
be danger.
disappeared. It was just that Xiahou Jie didn't think that Tang Ao would be able to catch up and kill
Chapter
him now
2100.
that he was so far
Big Brother
away from
Tang
Ao.
might have
Xiahou
encountered
Jie
something.
swept his soul
Otherwise,
remembrance behind
he
him
would have
and
definitely
discovered
come
that
to
Tang
the 5
Ao
elements demonic
was
realm
nowhere
to
to be
look for
seen
us.
within 10,000
What I'm worried about
kilometers
now
of him. Is that
seeing
Big Brother
this,
Tang Ao
Xiahou Jie
doesn't even
felt
know that
even
we were
more
sent to the
depressed.
5 elements
If this sense of
demonic
danger
realm
didn't
by the
originate
teleportation
from
array
Tang Ao,
in the underworld Emperor's
then what was
secret
it?
realm. Xiahou
Tang
Jie
said
couldn't
after some
sense
thought,
Tang Ao.
"Oof,
Wait
but
till I
Xiahou
find this
Jie
guy.
himself was
I'll
within
definitely
Tang
teach him a
Ao's
lesson.
perception.
Tang Hua,
right now,
it was not as
Tang
easy to
Ao
talk to as
was
Tang.
flying at full
Right
speed
now,
towards
she was
Xiahou
very
Jie's
angry
position.
at Tang
In
Ao
Tang Ao's
for
opinion,
leaving her here
he'd
for
catch
so
up to the old
long
man in
and
at
not
most
come to look
30
for her.
minutes.
As
As
Tang
long as he
Hua
killed
Xiahou
she waved her
Jie,
little fist.
Tang
Achoo,
Ao would
in a cave
immediately
dwelling.
return to
Tang
Xintian City
Ao
and help
adjusted his
blood
condition
demon
and
ancestor
cultivated
kill
for a
the others.
while.
Suddenly,
He
as long
sneezed
as
for
they
no
were dead,
reason.
the
Who's
other
scolding
sects
me?
wouldn't even need
Tang
to take
Ao
action for the
said
7
casually.
kills sect to
Then,
divide. Array
and
flags were
conquer the
thrown out
7
by
great
Tang
factions.
Ao.
A
What
moment
made
later,
Tang Ao
a first
feel
grade
rather
immortal
helpless
grade
was that
spirit
Xiahou
gathering
Jie,
array,
who hadn't
appeared
made
in the
any
cave
moves
dwelling.
just now,
Originally,
seemed to sense his
the
spiritual
spiritual
power
and
used
in
some
this
kind of
area
secret
was very
technique
thin.
to suddenly
However,
accelerate. After
However,
Tang Ao,
no matter
arranged
how
a
much
first
Xiahou
grade
Jie
immortal
struggled,
grade
he couldn't
spirit
outrun
gathering
Tang
array.
Ao's
The surrounding
thunderstorm
spiritual
dark cloud.
power
This only
quickly
made him run a
gathered
little
in this
further.
direction. When the
In
time
the
was right,
periphery of the
Tang
5
Ao
elements
would still be able to
demonic realm.
catch up. There were many places with thin spiritual power.
Chapter
However, at this
2089,
moment, the
once he
valley
missed this
Tang
opportunity
Ao was
and
had
allowed
instantly become
Xiahou
a place
Jie
with the
to catch his
densest
breath.
spiritual
It
power
wouldn't be
in the
so
periphery
easy
of
to
the
kill him
5
next time.
elements demonic
In
realm.
fact,
The
not
next time
only
Xiahou
that,
Jie would be
but the
on
surrounding
guard,
spiritual
Tang
power
Ao
was
wouldn't
still
even have the chance to
continuously
use the
gathering.
formation.
Tang
As time
Ao
went on,
naturally
the
knew
distance
that
between
this would
Tang
cause
Ao
quite a commotion.
and Xiahou Jie,
However,
was getting
Tang
closer
Ao
and closer.
didn't care at all.
Gradually,
On his way here,
Xiahou Jie
Tang Ao
appeared within the
had
range
already
of
looked
Tang
around.
Ao's
In the
soul
vicinity,
remembrance.
there were only
Soon,
some very weak
Tang Ao
demonic
was
beasts.
also detected by
Among
Xiahou
these small
Jie's
demonic
soul
beasts,
remembrance. Not to
when he
mention
saw Tang
astral-reaching
Ao,
experts.
Xiahou
There weren't
Jie
even many
frantically
life
fled,
and death experts,
scared out of his wits.
Therefore,
Tang
Xiahou Jie
Ao
couldn't figure
was
out how
naturally
Tang
somewhat
Ao
unrestrained
had managed
in
to catch up to
cultivating
him in such
Not
a short
only
amount of
did
time.
Tang
He had
Ao
clearly run ahead
gather
for
all
so
the
long.
surrounding
With
spiritual
no time
power,
to think,
Tang
Xiahou
Ao
Jie
also
took out
took
another
another
2
two
medicinal
medicinal
spirit
pills
stones
and swallowed
and
them,
scattered them
then
around
ran toward the
casually.
Xiahou family.
At this moment, along the
The
way,
spiritual power
Xiahou
in
Jie
Tang took out a jade pendant
dwelling was so dense
there
that
were
it was
two
somewhat
jade pendants
viscous.
like this in the
Seeing
Xiahou
this scene,
family.
Tang
One
Ao
was in
very
Xiahou
satisfied.
Ling Yuan's
At the
hand,
same time,
and the other was
Tang
in the hands
Ao
of the
was also
Xiahou
very
family's
helpless.
great elder.
This was already the
as
best
long as one of the
cultivation
three
environment that
crushed
Tang
the jade
Ao
pendant
could
the
create.
other two would
If
be
Tang
able to sense
Ao
it.
couldn't
Above a
reach
rolling
the
sea
astral
of
reaching
clouds
realm
in
such an
Xiahou
environment,
Linyuan,
Tang
who was heading
Ao
toward the seven
didn't
kill
know
sect,
when he would be able to.
suddenly stopped.
In his previous
Although
life,
Xiahou Linyuan
Tang
knew
Ao
about the Black Yellow
took nearly
Conference,
100 years
Xiahou Linyuan
to reach
didn't
the
think that the
astral
seven
reaching
kill
realm.
sect would have
However,
the guts to participate.
in this life,
Or,
Tang Ao
if they really
did,
couldn't wait
then
that long.
killing Tang
The reason
Ao
why
to
Blood Demon
avenge Qin
Ancestor
Yue
was able to reach
would
the
be
astral
impossible.
reaching realm
However,
so
Xiahou
quickly
Linyuan
was because
his
his
cultivation base
that the
had
jade
long since
pendant on his
reached the
body
peak
would
of
react
life
on his
and
way
death
to
realm,
the seven kill
and he was
sect.
only a thin line
Taking out
away
the
from
jade
astral
pendant,
reaching realm.
Xiahou Linyuan's expression changed.
It was a distress message
after
from his
obtaining
father,
Tang
Xiahou
Ao's
Jia.
star-breaking pellet.
Glancing at the
He
7
immediately
kill
broke through.
Xiahou Linyuan
However,
had no choice
Tang
but to
Ao
run
was
and
still a
Xiahou
distance away
Jia's
from the
direction.
peak of life.
Xiahou
and death
Linyuan
realm,
was very confused.
and it hadn't been long
His father,
since Tang
Xiahou
Ao
Jia,
had broken
was also
through.
at astral reaching
However,
realm level 1.
Tang Ao
Although
didn't want to
all
wait
of the old
any longer.
monsters from the
This
top
time,
martial institutions
he was preparing to
were
reach
almost
the
at
same
cultivation
cultivation
level.
realm.
It should
He
not be
scattered
necessary
supreme
for them
great
to ask
spirit
him for help.
stones.
Although he was puzzled, at this
Xiahou
moment,
Linyuan's
the
movements
ground
were
of the
not slow at
entire
all.
cave
The fact that he had to
covered in a
use this
thick layer
jade
of
pendant to
supreme
send a
grade
distress signal
spirit
meant
stones,
that Xiahou
be
Jia
it human
was
or
in imminent
demonic
danger.
race
At
martial
the same
artists,
time,
if they saw
venerated
so
elder
many
Xiahou
supreme
Ba
grade
receive
spirit stones,
Xiahou
they would definitely
Jia's
go
distress
crazy.
message.
Compared
Xiahou
to the
Ba
Black
left yellow
House,
conduit.
Xiahou in a
The
flash,
cultivation
and headed
resources
in
of the
Xiahou Jia's
5
direction.
elements demonic
Judging
realm
from the token's
were even more
location,
scarce.
Xiahou Jia wasn't far from House Xiahou. Thus, Xiahou Ba was very puzzled. Why did Xiahou
Chapter
Jia
21
still need to use this
with such a
emergency
huge
jade
commotion
pendant to call for
Tang
help
Ao
when
knew
he was
that there would
already
inevitably
be
human
although Tang
or
Ao
demonic
had been
race
chasing
martial
after
artists
Xiahou
coming
Jia
over.
all this time.
However,
Tang Ao had still
didn't
clearly
care
seen
because
Xiahou
Tang
Jia
Ao
had
jade
already
pendant.
used array
Tang
flags
Ao
to completely
was no
cover
stranger
this
to this
mountain
kind of
range.
jade pendant.
Flying Star
The jade
Extreme
pendant
Realm
that Xiahou
experts
Jia
or
had
special
shattered
methods
was
would
find it
call for help
extremely
from the
difficult
Xiahou
to
family.
break
Through Tang
Thinking of
Ao's
this,
enchantment.
Tang
and
Ao
enter.
increased his
However,
speed once again.
Tang Ao,
After getting
didn't
closer to
notice that
Xiahou
when he
Jia,
casually arranged
Tang
the
Ao
enchantment to
took
cover
out
this
the
mountain
primordial
range.
sacred sky.
He had also trapped a few
again
unlucky
Xiahou's
Xiahous
inside.
Jia's
However,
gaze.
these problems
at this
weren't
moment,
what Tang
the
Ao
primordial
needed to
sacred
consider
sky
at the moment.
at this
In
moment,
Tang Ao's
Tang
hand
Ao
was
had
shining
already
with a
sat
bright
down in his
radiance.
cave, as
Concentrating
Tang
all
Ao
his
raised
attention on
hand
breaking
and pulled
through
on the
to
bowstring.
the
The surrounding
astral
natural
realm.
spirit power
Tang Ao
seemed to be
didn't have
attracted
any
by
confidence
in
gathering
breaking
Tang
through
Ao's
to the
hand
astral
and
reaching
condensing
realm.
into a
Unlike the
mysterious
blood
sky
demon
arrow.
ancestor,
Xiahou Jia
Tang
had
Ao
already
didn't need
experienced
the
the
star-breaking
power
pellet
of the
at all.
mysterious
In
sky
fact,
arrow.
only martial
Lei
artists
Guqiu
who
had been
didn't
killed
use the
by
pellet
Tang
to break
Ao
through
with
to
one
the
sword
astral
attack
reaching
after being
realm
severely
possessed
injured
the
by
greatest
this
potential.
mysterious sky arrow.
Astral reaching realm that way was also the strongest astral
Chapter
reaching realm.
29.
In Tang Ao's
Hearing this voice,
previous life,
Xiahou Jia
there were
was
many
overjoyed.
astral reaching
But
experts
when
in
he
the
saw
Black Yellow
Xiahou Ba,
Continent. His
however,
expression turned
in the
ugly.
same realm
As he ran,
the perception
he yelled,
of astral
"Where did
reaching experts
Xiahou
was
Linyuan
extremely
go?"
large.
The reason why
In Tang
Xiahou Jia
Ao's
had crushed
impression,
the jade
those
pendant was
astral
because he
reaching
wanted
experts who
Xiahou
used the
Linyuan,
pellet were
who was still in
absolutely no
closed
match
door
for
training,
those who didn't.
to come out and save him.
Therefore,
This time,
but now,
Xiahou
Tang Ao
Linyuan had
also
not
didn't
come,
intend to
and
use
only
the pellet
Xiahou
to
Ba
break
come.
through.
That was
to
not
the
enough for
astral
Tang
reaching realm.
Ao to
The
kill it all.
periphery of the
Although
five
Xiahou
elements
Ba was
demonic
running with
region
Xiahou
was the
Jia,
region
he couldn't
where the
help
human
but
race
ask after
and
the
the
majority
leader,
of the weaker
a
demonic
mere
races
ninth level
gathered.
life
in this
death
region,
realm warrior.
due to the spirit
was there really
chi
a
of
need
the
to
world
run?
being too
Right now,
thin.
Xiahou
There
Ba
weren't many
was
seeds
already at the
soul
peak
realm
of
martial
ninth
artists.
level life.
However,
in death realm.
ever since
Because
the
his
great amount of
cultivation was
spirit
infinitely
chi
close
gathered
to
in the
the
direction of the
astral
Bright
reaching
Valley.
realm.
Both
He
human
even
and
considered
demonic
himself
race martial
a
artists
half-step
discovered that the
astral
already
reaching realm
thin
warrior.
spirit chi
At this
in
moment,
the surroundings
after
had
seeing that
unexpectedly
Tang Ao
become was
even
only a
thinner,
life.
the
The
reason
reason
why
why
the
the spiritual
warrior,
energy of
Xiahou
heaven
Ba,
and earth
did
was
not want to
so
run
thin
anymore.
was
Although he did
naturally
not know
because
how the
all the
family had got
spiritual
injured.
energy of
He was
heaven
sure
and
that
earth
Xiahou
seemed to have
Jia was
gathered
not
in the
injured by this
direction
young man
of
in front of him.
Illumination Valley
But
overnight.
how could he have
At this
known that the
moment,
one who had
the leaders of the
wounded
Sky
Xiahou
Wolf
Jia
race
was
Black
none other
Tiger
than
race
Tang Ao,
and Cloud
Hearing
Leopard race
Xiahou
were
Ba's
gathered
words,
together.
if it
Their
weren't for the fact
complexions
that it was not the right
extremely
place,
unsightly.
Xiahou Jia,
the
would have
leader of
called
the
him a pig's
Heavenly
brain.
Wolf clan,
If Tang
in
Ao
particular,
were
had
only
a
a
normal
gloomy
ninth level
expression on
life
his face,
in Death Realm
not long
warrior.
ago,
How could he
in
have
a battle
forced
with
the
the
human
human
clan's
difficult
warriors in the
situation?
Hansui Mountain
If he were
range?
only a
The
normal
strongest
ninth level
warrior of
life
their Heavenly
in
Wolf
Death
clan
Realm
warrior,
White Brow,
even that brat
had
from
been
the
killed
Lei
by a
family,
mysterious
or
warrior
even the
who had
Xiahou
just
Ba in
passed
front of
by.
him. After the
Xiahou Jia
Celestial
would be able
Wolf
to take care of
clan
them all
lost
by
the peak of the
himself.
ninth floor
But
of
this
Linghai
Tang Ao
Jing,
was too
the
much
clan
a
leader of the
monster.
Celestial Wolf
Before,
clan,
when Tang
immediately
Ao had
realized
not
that his
used the
prestige
Chi
in this
Min done job
region
formation,
seemed to have
Xiahou
dropped a
Jia
lot, and Lei Guqiu could
still barely suppressed Tang
What do you
Ao.
two brothers think
But as
about
soon
the
as Xiahou
strange
Jie
phenomenon
and the other
that
man
appeared in
entered the
Brightness Valley?
Chimanduanjia formation,
The leader of the clouded
they
leopard
immediately
clan
became
was a
lambs
beautiful
for Tang
woman
Ao
with a voluptuous
to slaughter.
figure.
If
She was at the
Lei
peak of the
Guchu
ninth
hadn't
floor
blasted a
of
crack in the
Linghai
Qi Min
and had already
Dunjia formation
transformed
before his
completely,
death, he,
regardless
Xiahou
of
Jie,
whether it was the
would have
naked
died
eye
in the formation
or
as
soul
well.
remembrance
Xiahou
probing.
Linyuan
It
hasn't
looked
come
no
out yet.
different from a
Xiahou
human martial
Jie's
artist.
mind was in a whirl.
However,
even if he
this was
joined
only
forces
relatively
with Xiahou
speaking.
Ba,
The
facing
two of them would
experts
definitely
with
not be a
powerful
match
soul
for
remembrance.
Tang Ao.
They could
Today,
still see through
if
her
Xiahou
identity
Linyuan
at a
did not
glance.
come, I think there's a high chance that a treasure has
able to
appeared
leave.
in Brightness
Eldest
Valley.
young master,
The
went
leader
to
of the
Seven
Black Tiger
Kills
tribe,
sect, was
after
a
hearing
burly
about
man.
Qin Yueshuang,
When he stood up,
and
he was at
second
least
young
twice
master's
as tall
deaths,
as the leader of the
Xiao
Cloud
Ba
Leopard
said
tribe.
nonchalantly
Among
as
the
he followed
three,
behind.
his cultivation was
Xiao Jie.
also
He
the
didn't care
highest,
about Tang
having
Ao
reached the
in
first
slightest.
layer of the life
After
and
thinking
death
for a
realm.
moment, it should be
Xiao
the
Ba
birth
said,
of a treasure.
"Why don't you leave
Otherwise,
first, and I'll
human
hold him
experts
back."
would not have been
Xiao
attracted
Jie was
here.
first taken aback
At
by
first,
Xiao Ba's
the leader
words,
of the Heavenly
but then he
Wolf
nodded
tribe
his head,
was puzzled
firmly.
as to
Xiao
why
Jie
human
hadn't
experts would
had
have
such
appeared in
thoughts
this
before.
region.
If
However,
it had been Lei Guqiu,
after seeing the
Xiao
strange
Jie
phenomenon
would have
in
fled
Brightness Valley,
without
he
hesitation.
completely
However,
understood.
Xiao
The human
Jie
expert who
didn't
had
have
killed
the heart
White
to
Brow
kill
must
his
have
fellow
found out
clansmen.
about the treasure in Brightness Valley in advance. Therefore, he killed White Brow while passing by. Chapter 2102. However, as soon as Yunmi finished speaking, Bai Xiao of the Sky Wolf race and Xiao Gang of the Black Tiger race glanced at her with an unfriendly expression. In the outskirts of the Five Elements demonic territory, cultivation resources were scarce. It was not easy to find an incredible treasure, but this foolish woman actually wanted to report it to the Beast King City, so Bai Xiao and Xiao Gang were naturally very displeased. You guys go back and make some arrangements. Tomorrow morning, we'll go to the Bright Valley together. Also, pay attention to the movements of the human race. After pondering for a moment, Xiao Gang waved his hand and ordered them to leave. Hearing Xiao Gang's words, Bai Xiao and Yunmi naturally didn't dare to refute. The two immediately stood up and left the Black Tiger race. In the Bright Valley, countless supreme grade spirit stones around Tang Ao had already turned into ashes. However, Tang Ao still didn't stop cultivating. What made Tang Ao feel helpless was that his 9 dragons' Emperor Jade body would become like a bottomless pit whenever he broke through a great realm. Cultivating with such a huge amount of spirit chi, Tang Ao had reached the peak of life and death realm very early on. However, after reaching the peak of life and death realm, Tang Ao's 9 dragons' Emperor Jade body was still greedily devouring the spirit chi. After being refined by Tang Ao, the spirit chi converged in Tang Ao's spirit chi. However, when this vast amount of spirit chi converged in the spirit chi, it was like a drop of water falling into the spirit chi, unable to stir up any waves. After a bitter smile, Tang Ao stopped. The reason why he stopped was not because Tang Ao didn't want to continue cultivating, but because the supreme grade spirit stones he had placed outside had already turned into ashes. Tang Ao inwardly thought that if it were in his previous life, he would have already stepped into the astral reaching realm after spending so many supreme grade spirit stones. However, after awakening the 9 dragons' Emperor Jade body in this life, the demand for cultivation resources had reached a level that Tang Ao couldn't even imagine. Tang Ao was thinking that if he hadn't made a fortune in Dao Lord Great Dream's palace, who knew how long it would have taken him to reach life and death realm level 9. Once again, he took out a lot of best quality spirit stones and casually sprinkled them in the cave. After that, Tang Ao continued to cultivate. Up to this point, Tang Ao hadn't felt the bottleneck of astral reaching realm, but at the same time, Tang Ao hadn't felt any sign of a breakthrough either. However, Tang Ao was not in a hurry. Tang Ao was prepared to cultivate for another 3 months. If he still could not make a breakthrough, he would go out and look for an opportunity to make a breakthrough or find a way to return to the Black-Yellow continent. At this moment, although Tang Ao's cultivation base had yet to break through to the first level of astral reaching realm, along with Tang Ao's cultivation, the spiritual power within Tang Ao's body continuously increased, and so did Tang Ao's strength. At this moment, Tang Ao felt that he still had no chance of winning against Xiahou Linyuan in his current state. However, if he wanted to escape, this time Xiahou Linyuan wouldn't be able to stop him no matter what. However, before breaking through to the astral reaching realm, Tang Ao still didn't want to fight against Xiahou Linyuan. It was just that at this moment, Tang Ao couldn't even sense the direction of astral reaching realm. Under such circumstances, Tang Ao still had 2 paths to take. One was to use the star-breaking pill to sense the direction of astral reaching realm, just like the blood demon ancestor. Chapter 2103. The second option would be to continue to train and try to break into the astral reaching realm. This would have both advantages and disadvantages. On the one hand, the advantage would be that he could continue to train, and Tang Ao's cultivation would also continue to grow. On the other hand, the disadvantage would be that after reaching the peak of life and death realm, although Tang Ao's cultivation would still continue to grow, it would be extremely slow. With Tang Ao's training experience, what he needed right now was not closed-door training, but to go out and find an opportunity to break through. Therefore, Tang Ao decided to continue training in this place for another 3 months. If he still could not break into the astral reaching realm after 3 months, then Tang Ao would have no choice but to find an opportunity to break through. Inside the cave, no one knew how much time had passed. On this day, when Tang Ao was training as usual, Tang Ao's eyebrows suddenly twitched. In order to avoid being disturbed by the human and beast race warriors in the surroundings, Tang Ao had covered the entire valley with an enchantment. Not long ago, Tang Ao had sensed some weak warriors using brute force to attack the outermost enchantment. However, after sensing that the strongest warrior attacking the enchantment was only at the first level of life and death realm, Tang Ao did not continue to pay attention to it. Even if Tang Ao did not care about a first-level life and death realm warrior, he would not be able to break through this enchantment that Tang Ao had set up even if he let him attack for a few years. At this moment, the reason why Tang Ao frowned was because under Tang Ao's perception, a few small beast race warriors had suddenly appeared in his enchantment and were currently approaching him. After thinking for a while, Tang Ao immediately understood that these 3 must have been training in this valley, and he did not notice them when he sealed the valley, so he had trapped them here. Among the 3 Beast Clan warriors, there was a Black Tiger Clan warrior and 2 Snow Fox Clan warriors. Tang Ao was stunned when he saw the martial artists of the Snow Fox Clan. This was because in Tang Ao's impression, the Snow Fox race was an upper-middle race in the 5 Elements demonic region. A place like this at the edge of the 5 Elements demonic region should not have any Snow Fox warriors. At this moment, the man and woman from the Snow Fox race were facing the Black Tiger warrior. Seeing that the Black Tiger warrior was about to reach them, the Snow Fox youth's face turned cold, and he immediately grabbed the woman beside him and threw her over. Seeing this, Tang Ao's face turned cold. Whether it was the human race or the beast race, there were always scum like this. And what Tang Ao hated the most was precisely this kind of selfish and unscrupulous person. Fortunately, the man from the Black Tiger race had a clear target. He dodged to the side and dodged the woman thrown by the man from the Snow Fox race. Then, he pounced on the young man from the Snow Fox race like a ferocious tiger. Seeing the warrior from the Black Tiger race charging towards him, the youth from the Snow Fox race immediately grabbed 8 bright silver chains from his storage ring. The moment the chain appeared, it instantly wrapped around the Black Tiger man's body. As they wrapped around the Black Tiger warrior, the Snow Fox youth was about to escape again. However, before he could escape, he heard a spluttering sound, and then the Black Tiger warrior let out a tragic cry. Shun Shuer's body was entangled with a long sword in her hand. This sword had pierced through the Black Tiger warrior's heart from the back and came out from the front. Although the Black Tiger warrior had used all his strength to break the chains binding his body before he died, he could only turn around and glare coldly at Shun Shuer before he died. Chapter 2104. In reality, Tang Ao could tell that if Shun Shuer's sword had been any slower, the youth from the Snow Fox race would have escaped long ago. Although Shun Yun had done it very discreetly, the 3 of them were currently within Tang Ao's enchantment. All of their movements were completely under Tang Ao's control. Thus, Tang Ao had naturally seen the Divine Movement Wind Talisman in Shun Yun's hand. The Divine Movement Wind Talisman was a peak 6th rank spirit talisman. After using this talisman,
One's flying speed would explosively increase for the time it takes for a joss stick to burn. If Shan Shui had not made her move in time, Xin Yun would definitely have used the Divine Movement Wind Talisman to escape. And after Xin Yun escaped, the martial artist from the Black Tiger race could easily break free of the chains that were binding his body. After the martial artist from the Black Tiger race broke free of the chains, how could Shan Shui, who was only at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm, be his opponent? Thus, Shan Shui's fate could be imagined. Senior brother Xin Yun, why did you do that to me just now? Shan Shui's eyes were filled with disappointment as she looked at Xin Yun. Although Shan Shui had feelings for Xin Yun, she was not the kind of girl who would let love get to her head. She had seen all of Xin Yun's movements just now. Thus, she was secretly glad that her sword was able to kill the martial artist from the Black Tiger race. Otherwise, her fate would have been extremely miserable. Junior sister Shui, you've misunderstood. What happened just now was merely a plan that I thought of on the spur of the moment. It was just that it happened too suddenly, so I didn't have time to explain it to you. Look, what is this? As Xin Yun spoke, he raised his hand. Immediately, Shan Shui saw the Divine Movement Wind Talisman in Xin Yun's hand. Shan Shui had seen this Divine Movement Wind Talisman just now. It was also because she saw this Divine Movement Wind Talisman that Shan Shui's heart completely froze. But what Xin Shui did not expect was that Xin Yun suddenly moved his hand. Immediately, Shan Shui was shocked to see that after the Divine Movement Wind Talisman, there was another first-rank Immortal Talisman, Lightning Fall Talisman. Shan Shui knew that Xin Yun possessed a Grade 1 Immortal Talisman, the Lightning Fall Talisman. However, at this moment, Shan Shui still did not understand why Xin Yun would take out this Grade 1 Immortal Talisman. Xin Yun seemed to have already guessed Xin Shui's thoughts. Looking at Shan Shui's puzzled gaze, Xin Yun said, Junior Shui, after I used the Demon Binding Chain to bind him, I wanted to use the Divine Movement Wind Talisman to escape with you, and then use the Lightning Fall Talisman to kill him. You know how powerful the Lightning Fall Talisman is, so I really can't explain too much to you just now. Looking at Xin Yun's sincere eyes and the Lightning Fall Talisman in his hand, Shan Shui lowered her head. Clearly, even though she was not blinded by love, she still chose to believe in Xin Yun this time. In the cave, when Tang Ao saw this scene, he secretly shook his head. Xin Yun's little trick might be able to deceive an inexperienced little girl like Xin Shui, but how could it escape Tang Ao's discerning eyes? Just now, Xin Yun did not take out the Lightning Fall Talisman. Clearly, he knew that a Grade 1 Immortal Talisman was too precious. Even at this moment, he could not bear to use it. Instead, he wanted to use Shan Shui's life in exchange for an opportunity to escape. After seeing Shan Shui kill the Black Tiger race cultivator, Xin Yun immediately took out the Lightning Fall Talisman. In just a short moment, he had actually thought of such an excuse. Chapter 2105. In the Black-Yellow Continent, there were not many martial artists who knew about the monster beheading axe. However, in the Five Elements demonic region, there was almost no martial artist who did not know about it. Although the monster beheading axe was called the monster beheading axe, it was originally a treasure of the demonic race. Indeed, after Xin Yun and Shan Shui whispered to each other for a while, the two put away the storage ring of the Black Tiger race martial artist and walked into the cave where Tang Ao was. Although Shan Yun looked very relaxed, Tang Ao could still see that Shan Yun was holding the Divine Movement Wind Talisman tightly in his hand. Obviously, he was worried that there might be something horrifying in the cave. However, as soon as the two of them entered the cave, they were immediately shocked by the spiritual power that was so dense that it was almost dripping drop by drop. Xin Yun and Shan Shui were both martial artists of the Snow Fox clan. Although the Snow Fox clan could not reside in the Five Elements Demon Domain's core region, the Beast King City,
As a large clan, it was not a problem for the Snow Fox clan's martial artists to freely enter and leave the Beast King city. Both Shun Yun and Shun Shui had been to the Beast King city before, but what shocked them the most was that even in the Beast King city, they had never felt such dense spiritual energy. Brother Xinyan, look, there's so many supreme rank spirit stones. Very soon, Shun Shui was pleasantly surprised because in this cave, Shun Shui actually saw a mountain of top-grade spirit stones. Shun Shui estimated that even if the entire Snow Fox race added up all the supreme rank spirit stones, it would not even amount to 1/10 of this. Seeing so many supreme rank spirit stones, a dagger immediately appeared in Shun Yun's hand. Looking at these supreme rank spirit stones, Shun Yun's eyes shone brightly. With so many supreme rank spirit stones, it should be enough for him to train all the way to the astral reaching realm, right? This was really his luck. He had mistakenly entered the Bright Valley and been trapped by a strange array. After being chased by the Black Tiger race, he had actually come to this place. With so many supreme rank spirit stones, Shun Yun actually could not use them all by himself. Giving some of Shun Shui would not be a problem. However, Shun Yun still did not plan to let Shun Shui stay. Through the previous question, Shun Yun already knew that Shun Shui must be suspicious of him. Moreover, with so many supreme rank spirit stones, if Shun Shui leaked it, he would not be able to bear the consequences. Brother Shun Yun, what's wrong? Seeing Shun Yun's somewhat gloomy expression, Shun Shui asked with concern. Shun Yun inhaled a deep breath of air as he looked at Shun Shui's innocent and pure face. With a sweep of his spiritual remembrance, the dagger life spirit that he had hidden behind him earlier slowly disappeared. Junior sister Shui, there are so many top-grade spirit stones here. What do you think we should do? Hearing Qin Yun's question, Shun Shui didn't even think before replying. Of course we'll bring them all back to the clan. We were orphaned since we were young, and it was only because of the patriarch's adoption and the help of our brothers and sisters in the clan that we managed to survive until today. If we bring all these top-grade spirit stones back, the Snow Fox clan could very well become the 11th clan in the Five Elements demonic domain. Oh, is that so? Upon hearing Shun Shui's words, the Starnet dagger life soul that Shun Yun had just put away condensed behind him again. Shun Shui's reply made Shun Yun very dissatisfied. At the same time, Shun Yun knew that if he wanted to keep all these spirit stones for himself, Shun Shui would definitely not be willing. Therefore, he could only let Shun Shui down. Just as Shun Yun was about to make a move, Shun Shui exclaimed once again, "Big brother Shun Yun, look at that thing." Shun Shui pointed at the devil-slaying axe that Tang Ao had deliberately left behind. Her eyes were filled with shock. Although she was asking Shun Yun, it didn't mean that she didn't recognize what it was. One of the 3 sacred objects of the demon clan, the devil-slaying axe. Every member of the demon clan would recognize it. If Shun Yun was said to have hesitated when he saw the top-grade spirit stones, then when he saw the devil-slaying axe, he immediately attacked Shun Shui. Shun Shui was still staring at the devil-slaying axe in a daze when she felt an extremely dangerous aura coming from behind her. She immediately turned around and saw the Starnet dagger right in front of her. At this moment, Shun Shui wanted to dodge, but at such a close distance, she simply couldn't. She didn't understand why Shun Yun wanted to kill her. Could it be just for these spirit stones and the devil-slaying axe? Bang! At this critical moment, Shun Shui had already closed her eyes in despair. However, following a muffled sound, Shun Yun's body was also sent flying as if he had received a heavy blow. Chapter 2106. Pucci. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Qin Yun looked at Tang Ao in horror. After discovering the demon-slaying axe, Qin Yun had used his soul remembrance to scan the entire cave. After confirming that there was no one in the cave, he had chosen to attack Shun Shui in the Snow Fox clan. Harming one's own clansmen was a capital offense.
That was why Shan Yun had been so cautious. However, Shen Yun had not expected that Tang Ao had used some unknown method to hide in the cave. It was only when he attacked Shan Shui that Tang Ao instantly intervened to save Tang Ao. Who are you? Do you know of our Snow Fox clan? Although he felt that Tang Ao's cultivation was very strong, Shen Yun still remained calm. At the same time, a first-grade lightning fall talisman appeared in Shen Yun's hands. I have some relations with Shan Minghan of the Snow Fox clan, but that has nothing to do with you. Tang Ao had no intention of letting Shen Yun off. As for the first-grade lightning fall talisman in Shen Yun's hands, Tang Ao did not care about it at all. In this cave, Tang Ao had set up a first-grade defensive immortal array. If Shen Yun dared to be impudent, Tang Ao would make him suffer. Senior, you know Sister Shen Minghan? Shen Shui seemed to have grasped onto a life-saving straw when she heard Shen Minghan's name. Even the matter of Shen Yun wanting to kill her was set aside by Shan Shui. And this time, Tang Ao was a little confused. Tang Ao knew that Shen Minghan was the princess of the Snow Fox clan. Therefore, Shen Minghan's reputation in the Snow Fox clan was not low. In fact, many people in the Five Elements Demon Domain knew of Shen Minghan. After all, Shen Minghan's appearance was not inferior to La Kale's or Chu Shuahan's. Such a great beauty would not lack attention no matter where she went. Senior, are you Sister Shen Minghan's friend? Can you go to Snow Cloud City to save Sister Shen Minghan? She's going to die soon. Shen Shui, who said anxiously when she saw Tang Ao's confusion. Shen Shui and Shen Yun had originally come out to seek help from the Black Fox clan. However, Shan Shui and Shen Yun did not expect that the two of them would only be resting in the cave for a short while. When the two of them were about to leave, they were shocked to find that the entire area had been sealed off by an expert using a barrier. The two of them gave it their all and were still unable to escape. Instead, they were even targeted by the Black Tiger clan's martial artists. What's going on? Is Shen Minghan in danger? This was something that Tang Ao had never expected. From Tang Ao's point of view, the Snow Fox clan was considered a large clan among the demon clans. As the princess of the Snow Fox clan, Shen Minghan should not have encountered any problems. However, Tang Ao heard from Shen Shui that Shen Minghan's life was in danger. Humph! Stop talking nonsense and hand over the demon-slaying axe. Otherwise, both of you will die here today. Chen Yun, who was at the side, was not in the mood to listen to the conversation between Tang Ao and Shen Shui. Chen Yun directly took the lightning fall talisman in his hand and stared intently at Tang Ao as he spoke. At the same time, the lightning fall talisman in Chen Yun's hand was already flowing with electricity. His words were self-evident. Are you sure that you will use this talisman to deal with me and your junior sister? Looking at Chen Yun, Tang Ao smiled indifferently and grabbed the demon-slaying axe in his hand. Then in front of Chen Yun, Tang Ao kept the demon-slaying axe. Chapter 2107. Do you know what this is? Shen Yun probed. It's just a grade 1 lightning fall talisman. It's not worth mentioning. Tang Ao's words were complete nonsense. If Shen Yun wasn't in his grade 1 immortal array, Tang Ao would have to be careful when dealing with this talisman. If he wasn't careful, he could be severely injured by the lightning fall talisman. However, now that Shen Yun was in Tang Ao's array, things were different. Shameless boasting, Shen Yun said as he activated the lightning fall talisman. At the same time, Shen Yun took out the divine movement talisman and slapped it on his body. Shen Shui saw that Shen Yun was using the lightning fall talisman against her and Tang Ao. Shen Shui had already seen Shen Yun's character. However, she didn't expect Shen Yun to be so deranged. Tang Ao was able to set up a barrier that enveloped the entire valley. It was evident that Tang Ao was extraordinarily powerful. Now that Shen Minghan and the Snow Fox clan were facing an unprecedented crisis, If Tang Ao were to head over to the Snow Fox clan to help, the pressure on the Snow Fox clan would be greatly reduced. If Tang Ao could set up such a defensive array in the Snow Fox clan's territory, he would be able to buy a lot of time for the Snow Fox clan. You're asking for trouble. Seeing that Shun Yun was about to escape after activating the Lightning Fall Talisman, Tang Ao threw out an array flag. Immediately, the array in the cave was split into two. One half of the array formed a strong barrier that enveloped Tang Ao and Shun Shuer. The other array trapped Shun Yun and the Lightning Fall Talisman in one place. Bang! Shun Yun activated the Divine Movement Talisman to escape. However, he crashed into the barrier of the array. Shun Yun was scared out of his wits. He wanted to find another exit. However, at this moment, Shun Yun heard a terrifying thunderclap behind him. Shun Yun felt his scalp go numb. It's over. That was Shun Yun's last thought. Immediately, he heard a terrifying thunderclap. Shun Yun's body was instantly turned to ashes by countless lightning bolts. Shun Shuer stared blankly at Shun Yun, who had been killed by the Lightning Fall Talisman. Under such a terrifying talisman, not even Shun Yun's soul was left. In other words, Shun Yun had reaped what he sowed. He didn't even have the chance to reincarnate. At the same time, Shun Shuer was shocked that Tang Ao was so skilled in arrays that even the Lightning Fall Talisman could not break Tang Ao's array. In the Snow Fox clan, Shun Shuer, Shun Menghan, Menghan, Shun Menghan, Shun Menghan, Shun Menghan Menghan. Because Tang Ao was too strong, at this moment, Shun Shuer even suspected whether Tang Ao was really Shun Menghan's friend, or if Tang Ao was pretending to be Shun Menghan's friend with ulterior motives. Shun Shuer couldn't help but ask, "Senior, have you known Sister Shun Menghan for a long time?" Tang Ao was stunned for a moment before he nodded. After the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm ended, Tang Ao was saved by Shun Menghan. Thinking about it, Tang Ao and Shun Menghan had known each other for a long time. Then can you tell me what happened between you and Sister Shun Menghan? Seeing Tang Ao nod, Shun Shuer, who subconsciously took a step back. If Shun Menghan and Tang Ao had known each other for a long time, then it was impossible that Shun Menghan had never mentioned Tang Ao. Chapter 2108. After thinking for a while, Tang Ao took out the jade plate that Shun Menghan had given him. This is the plate that Miss Shan gave me. Although we have known each other for a long time, we did not have much contact. However, Miss Shan saved my life. Now that she is in trouble, I will not just stand by and watch. When she first heard Tang Ao's words, Shun Shuer did not believe Tang Ao at all. But now that she saw the plate in Tang Ao's hand, she immediately believed him. This plate was indeed Shun Menghan's. Since Tang Ao had this plate, it meant that Tang Ao and Shun Menghan had a good relationship. Sorry, Senior. Shun Shuer remembered that she had doubted Tang Ao, so she was a bit embarrassed. However, Tang Ao did not mind at all and waved his hand. You don't need to call me Senior. I am Junior Sister Shun Menghan, and you call her Big Sister. You can call me Senior Brother too. All right, my name is Tang Ao. Tang Ao said as he sat on a stone platform. Right now, Tang Ao's cultivation had stopped at the peak of life and death realm level 9, and there was no hope of breaking through in a short period of time. Moreover, now that he knew that Shun Menghan was in trouble, Tang Ao naturally wanted to help her out. After asking Shun Shuer to sit down, Tang Ao asked, "All right, now tell me what happened to the Snow Fox clan. What kind of trouble did Junior Sister Shun Menghan run into?" Say, Senior Brother Tang Ao, it was like this. Shun Shuer still wanted to call Tang Ao Senior, but after thinking about what Tang Ao had just said, she immediately changed it. 3 months ago, a senior of the Flood Dragon clan was seriously injured outside the Snow Cloud City. Sister Shun Menghan was kind enough to save this senior. However, after Sister Shun saved this senior, although she managed to keep his life, this senior is still unconscious. Hearing this, Tang Ao nodded. Shun Menghan was indeed kind. Otherwise, she would not have saved him when he was passing by the snow plain. And then, not long after, the young clan leader of the Flood Dragon clan rushed over. The Flood Dragon clan senior that Sister Shinmenghan saved turned out to be the Grand Elder of the Flood Dragon clan. Originally, the young clan leader of the Flood Dragon clan was about to leave with the Grand Elder of the Flood Dragon clan after thanking the Snow Fox clan. However, when Zhu Qin saw Big Sister Shinmenghan, he was quite fond of her. He actually said that one of the Supreme Elder's treasures had been stolen by our Snow Fox clan. Tang Ao sneered and asked, "What treasure?" Zhu Qin is talking about the Xiantian Earth Source Qi. I don't know what it is, but I heard from the Patriarch that it is extremely precious. Zhu Qin used this as a threat to force Sister Shun Menghan to marry him. He also wanted our Snow Fox clan to compensate the Flood Dragon clan for their losses. Ha ha! Tang Ao immediately laughed out loud. This Zhu Qin really had a big appetite. He actually said that the Snow Fox clan had stolen their innate Earth Source Qi. If it was something else, Tang Ao would not know. However, Tang Ao knew about the innate Earth Source Qi. This was because the innate Earth Source Qi had been sealed in the Tao Palace of Great Dream Tao Venerate. Not long ago, when Tang Ao obtained this innate Earth Source Qi from the Tao Palace of Great Dream Tao Venerate, he had kept it with him. How could it be in the hands of the Grand Elder of the Flood Dragon clan? Chapter 2109. Afterwards, many powerhouses of the Flood Dragon clan came and surrounded Snow Cloud City. They wanted our Snow Fox clan to compensate for the losses of the Flood Dragon clan and also wanted Big Sister Shinmenghan to marry Zhu Qin. The other party's demands were too excessive and the Patriarch didn't agree. Thus, the two sides began to fight. Because there are too many powerhouses of the Flood Dragon clan, Uncle Patriarch was wounded by them. Luckily, the Patriarch has a 9-colored heavenly fire symbol in his hands. Because the Flood Dragon powerhouses fear this 9-colored heavenly fire symbol, they have temporarily surrounded Snow Cloud City. At this time, everyone in the Snow Fox clan was in danger. Many people even proposed that Big Sister Shinmenghan be handed over to Zhu Qin and that the Snow Fox clan compensate for the losses of the Flood Dragon clan. As Shan Shui spoke of this, she was in a very low mood. Facing such a powerful enemy like the Flood Dragon clan, if the Snow Fox clan didn't unite and continued to fight amongst themselves, it was likely that the Snow Fox clan wouldn't even need the Flood Dragon clan to attack before they would riot. Let's go. We'll go to Snow Cloud City. After conversing with Shan Shui, Tang Ao hesitated for a moment before saying, just the two of us going to Snow Cloud City? How about we go to the Black Fox clan and ask for some helpers? Shan Shui was frightened by Tang Ao's decision. Shan Shui had to admit that Tang Ao's array formation skills were extremely strong. In the entire 5-element monster region, there might not be a second array master with such high attainments in array formations. But Shan Shui also knew that laying down array formations required time. In particular, the more powerful the array formation, the more complex it would be and the more time it would take. If it was just her and Tang Ao going back to Snow Cloud City, Shan Shui was worried that Tang Ao wouldn't have the time to lay down an array formation. How does the strength of the Black Fox clan compare to yours? Tang Ao didn't answer, instead asking a question. The Black Fox clan and our Snow Fox clan have always been on good terms. The strength of the Black Fox clan, should be about the same as our Snow Fox clan. Shan Shui earnestly said, "That's it. You're no match for the Flood Dragon clan. Even if the Black Fox clan comes, there's nothing they can do. Let's go." Tang Ao said as he gathered up all the top-quality spirit stones. With a wave of his hand, the array flags in the surrounding space instantly appeared and quickly flew back to Tang Ao's hand. After Tang Ao removed the spirit convergence formation, the extremely dense spiritual energy in the surrounding space also rapidly dispersed. At this moment, Shan Shui finally realized that the spiritual energy in this place was so dense. It was all Tang Ao's doing.
At that moment, Shunschwerer secretly guessed that the barrier outside might have something to do with Tang Ao. Very quickly, Tang Ao confirmed Shunschwerer's guess. Under Shunschwerer's watchful eyes, Tang Ao brought Shunschwerer to the outskirts of Brilliant Valley. However, just as Tang Ao was about to remove the barrier, Tang Ao was surprised to find that because he had gathered the surrounding spiritual energy, there were many beast race and human race warriors cultivating in this place. Tang Ao felt a little helpless. If he had known that there were so many people cultivating here, Tang Ao might not have taken away the array flags of the Spirit Convergence Formation. This was because Tang Ao could casually refine the array flags of a first-grade immortal array. Leaving this set of array flags here could be considered a blessing. The Wind, Thunder, Dark Cloud was instantly summoned under Tang Ao's feet. He still removed the array flags in Brilliant Valley. Chapter 21:10. When Tang Ao brought Shunschwerer away with the Wind, Thunder, Dark Cloud, Shunschwerer was stunned by the speed of the Wind, Thunder, Dark Cloud. Shunschwerer and Shunyan had spent half a month traveling from Snow Cloud City, but after feeling the speed of the Wind, Thunder, Dark Cloud, Shunschwerer felt that they didn't even need a day. Tang Ao would be able to bring her back to Snow Cloud City. Snow Cloud City was considered a large city in the central region of the Five Elements demonic territory. However, at this moment, Snow Cloud City was no longer as lively as it used to be. The entire Snow Cloud City was shrouded in a somber atmosphere. There were even many bloodstains in Snow Cloud City. The warriors of the Flood Dragon clan walked around Snow Cloud City and scrupulously burning, killing, and looting. In the middle of Snow Cloud City was the base of the Snow Fox clan, Snow Cloud Palace. At this moment, in the main hall of the Snow Cloud Palace, all the experts of the Snow Fox clan were gathered together. Seated on the main seat was a middle-aged man at the 9th level of life and death realm. This middle-aged man was not weak, but at this moment, he was emitting a declining aura. This person was the current leader of the Snow Fox clan, Shun Hongjun. Shun Hongjun glanced at everyone below and asked in a weak voice, "Is there still no one coming to the Snow Cloud City to provide support?" This had practically become the sentence that Shun Hongjun had said the most over the past few days. At this moment, Shun Hongjun was furious. The Flood Dragon clan only had 4 9th level life and Death Realm warriors. As long as 3 more 9th level life and Death Realm warriors appeared on their side, Shun Hongjun would take away a 9th level life and Death Realm elder, even if he had to die. The reason why Shun Hongjun was injured earlier was because he fought 1 against 4 in a fit of rage. That was why he was heavily injured by the elder of the Flood Dragon race. Shen Menghan has been spoiled rotten by you. You want to save people as soon as you see them. You're in trouble now, aren't you? The one who spoke was a beautiful middle-aged woman beside Shen Hongjun. This person was Shun Menghan's stepmother. Normally, she and Shin Menghan were like fire and water, and during this period of time, she had neglected Shin Menghan. Seeing that Shun Menghan did not speak, Black Orchid continued relentlessly. You caused trouble yourself, so you have to bear the consequences yourself. If you agree to marry Zhu Qin now, then our Snow Fox clan will give you some compensation and this matter will end. Don't implicate the entire Snow Fox clan for your own selfish interests. Will Zhu Qin really let the Snow Fox clan off if I marry him? Could it be that in that kind of situation, I was just going to leave him to die? Shin Menghan's body was trembling slightly, and her voice was choked with sobs. After Shun Menghan finished speaking, the hall fell into a momentary silence. Everyone had watched Shun Menghan grow up. Everyone knew that Shun Menghan was born kind. Moreover, many of the people present had received Shun Menghan's kindness. Therefore, at this moment, no one could say that they shouldn't have saved him. However, these people didn't say anything. Wu Lan's expression grew stern, and she said, "You damned girl. You're still so stubborn even at a time like this. If it weren't for you, would the Snow Fox clan have faced such a calamity? In my opinion,
The Flood Dragon clan's innate earth essence was stolen by you, wasn't it? I didn't. Hearing Black Orchid's words, Shun Menghan immediately trembled with rage. Chapter 2111. What puzzled everyone was that this human youth seemed to have used a special secret technique. That was why no one in the hall could tell his cultivation level. After Shun Shui entered the hall, she immediately walked to Shun Menghan's side and hugged her. Meanwhile, Tang Ao swaggered into the Snow Fox Clan's hall. Who are you? How dare you enter the Snow Fox Clan's hall so casually? When Wulan saw that Tang Ao had come with Shun Shui, she immediately did not have a good impression of Tang Ao. Ah, so you still remember that you were a member of the Snow Fox Clan. I thought you would treat yourself as a member of the Flood Dragon Clan from now on. Tang Ao had heard the entire conversation between Wulan and Shun Menghan. Similarly, Tang Ao did not have a good impression of Wulan. Shun Menghan looked at Tang Ao suspiciously. In Shun Menghan's eyes, Tang Ao looked familiar. However, she did not have much of an impression of Tang Ao or when she had met Tang Ao. Insolence. Wu Ji, chop this arrogant kid to death and throw him out. Wu Ji was from the same bloodline as Wulan. Wu Ji was able to sit in the position of Snow Fox Clan Elder because of Wu Lan's support. At Wu Lan's command, Wu Ji charged towards Tang Ao without hesitation. Elder Wu Ji, stop! Shin Hongjun immediately shouted in a low voice when he saw Wu Ji making a move. However, Wu Ji did not seem to hear Shun Hongjun's words at all. He continued to attack Tang Ao without hesitation. Seeing Wu Ji attack, Shun Shui was shocked. Tang Ao was a very powerful array master. However, Tang Ao had to be given time to set up the array. Now that Wu Ji had attacked, how could Tang Ao have a chance to set up the array? Scram! After Wu Ji's claw reached out, Tang Ao's body shook with spirit force, and Wu Ji, who was still in the air, flew toward the wall. With a boom, a big hole appeared in the wall of the Snow Fox Clan's hall. Wu Ji collapsed to the ground and looked at Tang Ao in horror. What kind of strength was this? He, who was at the third layer of life and death realm, was not even able to get close to his opponent before being severely wounded. Could it be a legendary astral reaching realm warrior? However, even in the Beast King city, astral reaching realm warriors rarely showed themselves. How could there be an astral reaching realm warrior in this remote snow cloud city? Not only Wu Ji, but everyone else was also stunned. Wu Ji was able to become an elder of the Snow Fox Clan because of nepotism. However, Wu Ji's strength was above average among the elders of the Snow Fox Clan. But against this human youth, he couldn't even get close to him before he was sent flying. Could this human youngster really be an astral reaching realm warrior? From the looks of it, this human youth seemed to know Shin Menghan. However, if Shin Menghan really knew an astral reaching realm warrior of the human race, then how could the Flood Dragon clan dare to be so presumptuous? It should be known that the most powerful supreme elder of the Flood Dragon clan, the one who had been saved by Shin Menghan, was only at half-step astral reaching realm. Chapter 2112. It's you? Shin Menghan had a surprised look in her eyes. She had invited Tang Ao to visit the Snow Cloud City in the future. However, she did not expect that Tang Ao would come at such a bad time. It's me. Tang Ao smiled lightly. He did not expect that after so many years, Shin Menghan had not only become more beautiful, but also more interesting. However, right now, her pretty face was full of tears, which made people feel sorry for her. After recognizing Tang Ao, Shin Menghan squeezed out a smile. She then said to Tang Ao, I did not expect that you would really come to the Snow Cloud City to visit me. But it seems like you came a bad time. Shin Menghan curled her lips and said to Tang Ao, Is that so? I think I came a good time. Tang Ao said as he casually walked over to Shin Menghan. Everyone in the palace saw that Tang Ao really knew Shin Menghan and had known her for a long time, so they were all very happy. However, A small number of people had a bad look on their faces. They did not expect that Shin Menghan would actually know such a powerful warrior. If this person was truly an astral reaching realm warrior, then the crisis of the Snow Fox clan would be over. How dare you? You stupid girl. Even at this moment, you still dare to collude with outsiders to hurt our Snow Fox clan's elder. Do you want to see the Snow Fox clan destroyed? Although Wulan was also shocked by Tang Ao's power, after receiving a message in her communication pearl, she immediately calmed down. Others might not be able to catch the message in the communication pearl, but for someone as powerful as Tang Ao, it was not hard for him to do so. After catching the message in the communication pearl, Tang Ao immediately understood why this Wulan was targeting Shin Menghan like this. It turned out that this Wulan had colluded with the Flood Dragon clan, and the great elder of the Flood Dragon clan had already woken up, preparing to attack the Snow Fox clan. And here I was wondering how you could be so vicious. So that's how it is. As he spoke, Tang Ao's spirit energy surged, and the communication bead on Black Orchid's wrist was instantly swept up by Tang Ao's spirit energy. Wulan was greatly alarmed, and the four elders in the Great Hall even acted together, trying to destroy the communication pearl. But under the shock of Tang Ao's spiritual power, the four of them couldn't move under Tang Ao's powerful spiritual pressure. Right now, Tang Ao was already infinitely close to the first level of astral reaching realm. These mere third and fourth level life and death realm warriors dared to play tricks in front of Tang Ao. Gotcha! Then, under everyone's shocked gazes, Tang Ao's powerful soul remembrance instantly shot out, shattering Wu Lan's communication pearl. Then, the contents of the communication pearl were immediately captured by everyone. After realizing the contents of the communication pearl, Shun Hongjun, who was sitting in the head seat, puked out a mouthful of black blood, his whole body gasping for breath. Shin Hongjun had always thought that there was a traitor in the Snow Fox clan. He had suspected every single elder present, but he had never suspected this woman who had been by his side day and night. Ever since Tang Ao came in, Shun Hongjun had not said a single word. Instead, he had been secretly guarding against Tang Ao. In Shun Hongjun's hand, he had even taken out the 9-colored Heaven Fire spell. But Shun Hongjun had never thought that Black Orchid would do something like this. Why? Shun Hongjun didn't say much, only spitting out 2 words. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.